Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, happy Monday! Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Everybody have a good weekend?
I do.
Man, it was a great weekend.
It's a great weekend.
Beautiful
It
weather.
was a really good weekend.
Oh yeah,
Great weather.
Yeah. Oh, I had a wedding anniversary, so yeah, that was cool.
Oh, that's right. You took the whole family to dinner, right?
Yeah, everybody was. I got a brother.
It went well?
Yeah, when I went to this place, I ain't never been there before. It's like in it's in like Lakewood or something, bro. Let me see. I got
On the water?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like right over the lake.
Yeah, that Pier W?
Nah, that wasn't it. I've been there that one before. I can't believe
Pier W is awesome.
Yeah.
I can't
Love
believe
it.
Yeah.
I like going there in the winter, even though it's great. Like when the weather's nice,
Yeah.
it's cool to see just the frozen lake
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
different topography that it offers. It's great.
Now it's gonna irk me. I'm gonna have to figure out.
Summer House is the other one.
That's it.
Yeah, summer. Okay, that's
other
good.
one.
That's good too.
That's it.
That's good too.
That's the one we went
I've
to.
never been there.
Yeah. How'd
That's
you
the
like
one.
it? You like it?
It was nice, man.
Good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got
Good play. That was year number 4, right? You were Rose Bush?
Yeah, year four, man. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I haven't renegotiated or anything.
Terms still apply?
Yeah, I'm still under a max deal. She said I can't buy no shoes because we in the second apron. But other than that,
Wait, you're not on a shoe freeze. I see you rolling here with new shoes.
no. These are
old new shoes.
No, this is an arms race at this point. Tyvis Powell and Dustin Fox. Dustin just got a new stimulus package, so this man is just like.
Is that another word for parlay?
Yeah, nah.
No, it's good. Another word for marrying.
Yeah, that's it.
now it's a dink. You know what a dink is? Dual income.
Listen, but I was like, yeah, all right, Dustin, you get your golf off, this tennis, that's cool. But now he got access to the banking accounts, bro, and it's 2 of them now. So now it's looking crazy out here. He be showing me stuff. He doing box unveilings. That's corny too, Dustin. You don't unveil on the chat. You pulling the shoes up like this, man. Come on, you don't have to do that.
You've never done that?
Nah, bro, he's taking it too far now. He's going to another step.
It's almost like he's taunting you.
Yeah, bro. And he went in these little raffles now. Like, to get the Jordans, the newest ones, you got to sign up for like a sweepstakes.
Wow.
And
He's gone to the next level with the Jordans.
Yeah, Earl done won a sweepstakes. I don't know how.
And that just allows you to buy a pair.
Yes, that just gives you access to get them. And guess what? I ain't never got them. Every time they showed me, I got access to them. I'm over here looking around with these 14, 15s. I ain't never won a raffle. You need to create like 75 fake email like they have. So you can enter 75 times and up your chances of winning. I think they blacklisted me, man.
Oh, really?
I think they blacklisted me. They're like, no, we're gonna make you buy every pair of shoestrings secondary market.
I'm glad the anniversary went well. You had a good weekend?
You know what I have access to? My kids' hand-me-downs. That's why I wear the shoes. Now the ones that my
They're
kids
not bad,
outgrow.
though.
But I seen a pair of hand-me-downs. Them orange and gray joints was fire.
I pay for swimming,
Oh,
volleyball,
you're done.
travel baseball, varsity sports,
college.
football. So the shoes that I buy now are
nuts, man.
from my kids' closet.
Hey, listen, y'all got a different stipend. Y'all got a whole different, y'all. I complain about like regular stuff. Y'all be having look, Jay got whole grandchildren. Like you got whole.
I got 2 grandchildren.
And that's how crazy. We don't never hear about them, but now he's getting taxed. Whole grandchildren.
Of course you're getting taxed. I don't call it Amazon. I call it Gramazon. And I'm not kidding you. I made that
awesome.
up. I said, Trey, what's going on?
He's out of control.
We already raised our kids. I literally want to start a social media account where all I do is track the incomings from Gramazon.
It is awesome.
Nuts, bro.
It is.
It is nuts. We took them to Kelly's Island this weekend on the boat. That ain't cheap.
Yeah.
You ever fuel up a vessel?
Oh.
It's not like $2.95 at the pump.
Yeah.
So this is back at my dude JT, my best friend, I'll get to see him here in a couple weeks. Country white dude, right? But he taught me how the levels to the white people game is. So
right.
He's like, when he got out of college, he was the first one of us to get a real job, and he hated it. He's up at 9 o'clock. He was just like, yeah, I'm going to party. But anyway, He got a boat. He's like, I'm gonna step my game up. I'm getting a boat. I'm like, dang, bro, he got a Wrangler and a boat. That's the starter kit. That's the starter kit. So he got this boat, right? Now his sister and his brother-in-law, they got the boat where it's underneath. They be having cabins and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
They used to live on Lake Norman in Charlotte. And I'm like, man, you ain't got. I said, you got a boat? He's like, yeah, I got this boat, but it wasn't no regular boat. It was a pontoon.
Oh, hey, those are fun. I call them floating parties.
Yeah, so we get the pontoon jumping. We like, yeah, now this is my single days. I said, we winning. All we got to do is tell the girls we on the water. It's over.
I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat. G. Bush, I'm up there looking creepy with Timberlands on. You know, I got Timberlands on and jean shorts on a boat.
Jorts and Timberlands.
And we on there, and he says, hey, buddy, we got to gas this thing up. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm thinking where we gas it up. He said, no, we got to go to one of the dockings over here.
Marina, right? Get some fuel.
He's like, yeah, we're going to get that. We're going to get us some snacks. So he's like, we're going to go half on this. I said, all right, cool, bet. Let's go. Now, this is on Pell Grant G. Bush. This Pell Grant G. Bush. I'm going around, I'm like, man, this ain't nothing. Maybe at 40, 50. Man, listen.
Oh, my God.
Man, we got around there and I said, this is a rent bill. How would this is halved.
Yeah.
I said, bro, why would you buy a boat that takes 800, 700, any hundreds at the time to fill up on a pontoon? Now, guess what? That was before we took over all the Gulf Coast and got all the oil that we want.
Right.
But now, back then, that was like, oh, no, we had to outsource that. Bro, I was like, yeah.
It's not cheap.
It was the last time.
And you can just watch your fuel gauge just go like this. As you It just drinks the fuel.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you become a grandfather, there'll be nothing that they'll ask for that you don't want to get for them. It's awful, man. Way worse than your kids, because your kids are teaching lessons. Oh, no, you're not growing up with everything. Then you can be a spoiled little kid. So my kids work for their stuff. My grandkids, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Nothing in return. Just here you go.
At this point,
they're going to be all messed up.
I got to be honest. I don't hardly ever tell our kids no.
It's hard, man.
Ever.
It is hard, Jay. It's hard.
Ever. Like, what do you want? You want Morgan Wallen tickets? All right, cool. Here's $800. We're going to
Are they
Morgan Wallen
going?
concert. Yeah,
I scored tickets as well, man. I am so excited.
Yeah,
about
we're
that.
going. But
It's literally the most in-demand ticket for any show since I've been here. I've been here 6-7 years now since I've been back.
because Taylor Swift hasn't come, so it's probably true.
No, she hasn't. Now, she would exceed that, but it's just bananas, and the cost of the tickets is bananas.
I went on and looked at the scout prices and was like,
don't do that.
Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, obstructed view.
Yeah.
$350, $375 each for upper deck obstructed view, like behind the stage.
Sure.
And these dudes ain't lying. Chat. I done called them multiple times, both of them, calling in these favors. You know how it is. they get on the phone. You be like, oh yeah, Jay talking to somebody. He calling his favor in. Now where are you sure anything? Because we want to be in the lower bowl.
Hey, Jay's got more favors than I do. My hookup is I get to pay retail price.
Right.
That's my hookup.
See, he gets it. Just like I get a chance, I'm happy to pay full price for the Jordan. I'm not getting no hookup.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's nice to have. It's nice to have friends in high places.
Yes.
To make a play on another country song, another artist.
Yeah.
Mikey, how was your weekend? Good?
Very good weekend. Yeah.
Good.
Very, very good weekend. Went to the Guardians game on Saturday. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Saw a good one?
Saw a good one. CJ Kayfus' MLB debut.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather. Can't beat it. But we got a lot of sports to talk about today. And then we got Herm Edwards coming up at 12:30. His first time ever on UCSS. Very excited to talk some ball with Herm Edwards. But let's dive into our first topic here after a quick word from FanDuel. Summer sports still in full swing. And whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You've already been following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling with FanDuel? You can get in on the game from wherever you're at, whether it's by the pool or on the beach. New to FanDuel? Well, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Open up the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. All right, guys, over the weekend, we got some reports from Browns camp that were very up and down. We'll talk about Shedeur Sanders next, but we're going to start with the reports that Dillon Gabriel had a weekend he would probably like to forget. Everyone who was out there on Friday said it was a rough practice for Dillon. On Saturday, he got even more first-team reps with Kenny Pickett out of the equation, still recovering from the hamstring injury, and Shedeur Sanders sitting out with arm soreness, which we'll talk about later. Zach Jackson of The Athletic, Jason's co-worker, a contributor here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, wrote this in his 9 takeaways through the first 9 days of practice. Zach said, quote, "With the 2 rookie quarterbacks, there's a clear order. Gabriel, the third-round pick, goes ahead of Sanders and gets more total reps too. But to say Gabriel has had an up-and-down camp would be to at least slightly ignore that he's been wildly down and wildly inaccurate in recent days. And though camp stats and camp completions don't tell anything close to the whole story, Gabriel has done nothing to make anyone observing believe he's ready to be trusted as a number 2 quarterback." Jason G. J., what do you make of the recent struggles in camp by one Dillon Gabriel? How big of a concern should they be for the Browns moving forward?
I think a big concern. I mean, I don't ever want anybody to struggle, particularly when you're in a close race. The report I got from Friday's camp was everyone looked bad.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let's dig a little deeper in this. When you say everybody looked bad, did anybody stand out as looking worse than the others? No, they all look like garbage. So now that, again, this is from a guy that I get all of my training camp reports from that I definitely trust. I said, did anybody look good? No, not on offense. They looked bad. You were out there? Were you out there?
No, I'm going today right after the show.
I couldn't go because of Channel 3 obligations, but I don't want anyone to look bad. This is what I hope for. All 4 have A-plus camps, and they all look great, particularly in the workouts when they're going against the Panthers and the Eagles.
Yeah.
I want them to shine in those situations because, for me, those, maybe even more so than the game, are the biggest takeaways. And I think that's the way the coaches will probably judge it too. So when I hear anyone looks bad, I don't feel good about that. I want 4 lottery tickets to scratch, not 3. And it's funny, I read some different accounts from people that say, yeah, he looked bad, but he's still the clear front runner. Was it Albert Breer that I read that said that?
Yes. His stats, for anyone who cares, I know we've talked about stats, and I don't want to make this, but his Friday stats were 3 of 14 with a pick.
Yeah, I'm not really going to dive into the stat. Unless you're like 1 of 20 with 4 picks.
Well, 3 of 14 is pretty
close.
close.
Pretty close.
That's
but
close.
For me, I'm not, like, let's face it, some of these throws are like you're playing catch, like you're warming up.
So the whole camp stats thing debate that we've had.
I can't believe that's a thing either, by the way.
But we are getting to the point where I think it matters. Like the where I was railing against it was OTAs when it's 7-on-7, when you're throwing against air and we're counting those stats. Are you kidding? Like that's where I had an issue
like counting
with
workout stats.
Like and Zach famously says all the time. Zach Jackson says the ball's not supposed to hit the ground on 7-on-7s. Those are not counting stats that you count during OTAs.
Sure.
And plus, for the people who are keeping the counting stats, they've never really explained what they count and what they don't.
Right.
Because I've seen throws out there where Dillon's throwing against 4 receivers and there's nobody covering them. Are we counting those?
As a completion.
But there's no
reason.
But so that's why I was losing my mind in May.
And that's why I don't like it either.
Those. But if we're going 11-on-11, we're going live, that counts.
That's the most relevant stat.
Absolutely. So we are getting to the point here where these stats, they matter more. They certainly matter more than they did in May. And if he's going 3 of 14, and again, I don't know the parameters of that. But if he's going 3 of 4, and I wasn't there, but if he's going 3 of 14 and 11-on-11s live, that's not good.
That's awful.
You could say whatever you want about what they're working on or what they're looking at, or you throw it to the seam every time, regardless of what, whatever. 3 of 14 ain't good. And from what I've seen in the few times, I haven't spent a ton of time at camp. I've been out there probably 3 or 4 days. And I saw a lot of the OTAs. And what I've seen from Dillon is a lot of checkdowns.
Yep.
A lot of move in the pocket. You have to with his size. And when he misses, he typically misses high. And I tend to think that probably goes back to the size as well. Having said that, yeah, they do like him. I'm not going to sit here and explain to you why. I think a lot of people felt like he was overdrafted as a third-round pick. Can we agree on that? A lot of people were shocked by the pick.
Sure.
So, but...
Do you agree with Albert Breer?
Yeah.
You do.
What Albert said was Dillon has been ahead of Shedeur, and Shedeur has ground to make up, and he's working hard to get. That is how they see it. You can argue that. You can say that's wrong. Fine. That's how they see it. They love the way he processes. They love the way he picks up the playbook. But eventually that has to translate onto the field.
Sure.
And you have to start getting results. Otherwise, you got to get out of line. You got to give somebody else a chance.
Right.
And that's where sort of we're at with this. I've said it before. If Dillon was 4 inches taller, 5 inches taller, he's probably a first-round pick. But he's not. So this is the reality of where we're at.
would have been too.
Yeah, but listen, hold on.
With healthy knees.
Hey, boy, 4 inches taller. Listen, I am a power stretch 4.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean? Look, so first and foremost, when I disagree with Albert Breer, he's a great journalist. He does a great job. I listen to his stuff all the time. But at some point, we can say we can project the traits that we want onto people. But at some point, those traits have to show up and pay dividends. Now, I watched the compilation of the 11-on-11 and the 3-for-14. It was bad. It was real bad. Now, look, I take no delight in saying that somebody played bad for the Cleveland Browns, because at the end of the day, that is a person that's playing for the Browns. And hey, look, you should earn a position sometimes, and you need to work to earn that position other than somebody falling off. But if you play that bad, somebody gonna come get you. There was this play where he threw into double coverage. Now, some people on Twitter said, hey, listen, that was the receiver's fault. The receiver dropped the ball, and it tipped off his hands, and, it caused interception. That's not his fault. And I had to explain to them that you guys, listen, that was such a bad throw that you assumed that was the receiver who dropped the ball. It was 2 defenders. The one defender didn't pick it off, and the other one tipped the ball to the other one, and then he picked it off. So, but here's the thing. For me, when you look at Dillon Gabriel, the problem is this. And when I went up to camp and I looked at his stuff and you're watching him make throws, he's fine when there is a clean pocket and he has a little distance. He's in shotgun. He could do some things. He really struggles when the pass rush is in his face, when there's pressure up the middle, and when he has to roll out and throw the ball. He tends to miss a lot high. And that has been evident in practice. Now, the other people say, Daryl talked about it. Daryl Ryder, said he was, inconsistent. Zach Jackson said he's been inconsistent the last couple of days. And the last couple of days, it looks like it's been getting a little bit worse. The next day he came back, he was 11-22, I believe. But here's the thing. At some point, when we keep saying that Dillon Gabriel has played better and played in those circumstances, I simply have not seen that. I do not think there is any planet that he has thrown the ball better than Shedeur Sanders in this camp. I just don't see it. Now, he has times when they shine. Does Shedeur look like he's lights out all the time? No. But when you are a 3rd-round pick, and this is the thing that people are going to get, like Jason said, they like him. It's obvious, right? Because they keep giving him reps. He keeps getting first-team reps. But there will become a point in time, if he continues to get first-team reps, as practice goes on, as these scrimmages goes on, where people will start to second guess that thought process that he is that far ahead of Shedeur Sanders, because now you're going to have to prove it. You got to prove it on film. And all of them will get an opportunity to prove it. So for me, is it a death sentence that he's playing bad? No. Because ultimately, what's going to unseat and seat people is what you do in these games coming up, because everybody's going to be watching that. But is it a good sign? No, because it points to the limitations that a lot of people, including myself, thought he had when it came to being a pure pocket passer under center, being that limited with his height and finding windows to play under center.
Just to be clear on what Albert said
Friday. That wasn't his opinion. He was parroting.
He wasn't defending.
Yeah, I wanted to make that.
No.
Yeah, I wanted to make that distinction too. I don't want to beat up Albert.
But
that's not his assessment. He's saying the Browns see it this way.
This goes back to the conversation. I think we had this on Friday. I think we just talked about this on Friday.
We did.
About the role as a journalist, right?
Tell people what you're hearing.
Relay what you know and what you're being told. What Albert is relaying to you is how the Browns think. It wasn't what Albert thinks. He was saying they have Dillon Gabriel ahead of Shedeur. There was a gap. Shedeur's working hard to try and close the gap. That's it. That's what he was saying.
And it's evident too because
it's obvious
because he's still getting the lion's share of the first team reps.
Right.
So not specifically with Albert. All he can do is give you what the team is thinking, and it shows
because of the status of the journalists that we're talking about here. It's not like this is some guy from Pro Football Talk we haven't heard from.
Albert is hardwired into the Browns.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, can that reality change? Of course it can. I honestly think I was talking about this Friday with somebody. If you parse like what percent leading up to the first game weighs into their decisions, this was just my top of the head, and I'll probably get the numbers wrong from what I had Friday. I think your rookie camp is probably 5%. That's the way I see it. I think training camp is probably 35%. But I'm going to put the other 60% kind of a mix. 30% what they're going to see against these joint workouts, and 30% what they're going to see from the actual preseason games. Mm-hmm. That's just the way I view it. I remember talking with Tony Dungy and John Gruden when they were formulating and they were looking at everything.
Yeah.
And they both had the same overriding message. No one's winning or losing a job here at rookie camp. And then at training camp, things got serious, but they still knew, look, if you're behind, there's plenty of time to catch up. If you're ahead, there's plenty of time to fall behind. I think the lion's share of what's going to go into this decision for the Browns lies ahead of us, not behind us.
I'd agree.
I think the groundwork is laid for everybody.
I think it gets laid early. And I think these next 2 weeks.
I think by preseason game number 2, you've got now 2 joint workouts.
These next 2 weeks, I think, are huge.
Critical.
When do they leave is Carolina?
Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
They have Wednesday
Carolina
workouts
tomorrow.
and then a Friday
joint
game.
Practice is Wednesday, then they play on Thursday, then the following
Oh, they play on Thursday? I thought
they
play on Friday.
Yeah,
that's
they
what I
play
thought.
Friday. Practice is Wednesday,
But
though.
By Saturday morning,
this is the most important week.
The picture is going to start to come into focus.
It's one practice. I don't understand why they're going all the way down there for one practice.
I didn't either.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me either, Jay, but I double-checked. That's all they have.
Unless they just don't want 2 weeks because they're going full in Philly. It's 2 or 3 days of joint practice.
2 in Philly.
It's 2 in Philly, 1 in Carolina.
And 1 in Carolina.
Okay, I guess.
But that's a substantial amount of work. You've been to these joint team workouts. You know how spicy they can get.
It's real.
It's real football.
It's football.
Because now, and just like the Browns are fighting for jobs, okay, Carolina's got guys that are fighting for jobs. And Philly's jockeying for position.
Yeah.
You know they're starting to
Well, I think we'll have a clear understanding of where this is going after Philly. Like the next 2 weeks.
Clear.
The next 2 weeks are huge.
Because at that point, all you have left is one final preseason game.
Yeah.
And that's usually fine-tuning.
And so I don't think the bulk of it is in front of us. I think we're probably midway. Maybe
I don't know.
In the eye of the storm, I think.
Yeah.
I think with
It's
all
right
3
here.
preseason games and 3 joint workouts, I think that's going to actually – that's where it matters. That's the real football. I don't want to be 3 for 14 in a practice against my own squad.
Right.
But I'll tell you this, you damn sure don't want to be 3 and 14 in a joint practice with the Eagles or the Panthers.
Right. I think Jay, just being through these camps, it's the groundwork and foundation. Sometimes you have to make up ground by doing certain things. Like people say, well, how is Shedeur Sanders' arm, his shoulder is sore? Well, throwing after practice and throwing 40 minutes before practice will do it.
I know we're going to get to that in a second. Is there a history of this, by the way?
No,
I couldn't find it.
Save it because we're going to get to that one.
okay.
I got one more question on Gabriel, then we can pivot to the
But let
stuff.
me start this out. But here's the thing. When you get to this point, you have to put stuff on tape in your own facility to earn the right to get those reps in Carolina.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to get there first. You get there, you earn it, and you do your thing. Now, I will say this. When you see a different color jersey, it's just different. You know it. Like now all bets is off, and then they're not going to cater nothing. You don't even know what they're going to do. They might say we're going to come in here and put you at a disadvantage because coaches will do that.
Sure they will.
Hey, blitz him on this play. Let me see what he got.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hold on, I thought we went, nah.
The gentleman's agreement before practice starts is between the coaches.
Yeah.
What happens? Were you at the joint practices in Indy a couple of years ago?
Oh,
Lord.
Oh, it was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath.
No, but
Tony Dungy was there. He was there with the Colts, and Tony and I were standing together watching.
This was the first sign Freddie was unfit to be a head coach.
Yes, because Freddie, here's the thing. I remember, do you remember when, well, that's a different story. It's a sidebar. We've all seen people celebrate when they should be embarrassed, and then you have secondhand embarrassment. Watching that unfold, I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is like a street fight between gangs. And Freddie, after the workout was over, we interviewed him. He was like, yeah, I told him, let's bring it, boys, bring it. And I'm like, oh no, this is going to be a renegade outfit that just doesn't conform. That was embarrassing.
There were a lot of signs he was unfit. I don't know if that was the first one or not, but
that was the first one I saw.
High on the list.
Because at the time it was all like positive energy, good karma, the team loved him, everything was kumbaya.
Yeah.
But after that, everybody was kind of looking around. Even some of the veterans on the Browns were looking around like, what are we doing? What is going on here?
That was bad.
Gee, let me ask you one last question on Gabriel, then we'll pivot to the Shedeur thing. But let's just for the sake of this question, agree that the practice on Friday was not good, and then Saturday maybe slightly better, but still not up to where you want.
What do you do Saturday, as long as we're keeping stats?
It was 11 of 22 with 1 touchdown, no picks. So over the 2 days.
Okay, that's a nice bounce back.
Over the 2 days.
50%?
14 for
He didn't throw a pick. I'm looking at the picks, Jay.
Yeah,
I'm really the completions. Here's the thing. I didn't look at all the throws, but I saw a couple throws that were in receivers' hands and that were dropped.
Yeah.
So just for the
sake, if you're going to parse that, I want no interceptions.
You know who hasn't thrown a pick all camp?
Shedeur Sanders.
He did.
No, I know.
He did on Friday, G. He threw his first one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But okay. But it was
out of curiosity, was it against the ones? And do we know how many throws he's made against the ones?
No, he's only had the 4 throws in the sessions against the ones. It was in the.
Well, that tells you what you need to know.
It was against
You're giving him 4 throws
Thrash,
against the
and
ones.
someone picked it off. But G, besides the point, let's say he comes back today, Gabriel, has a bounce back, great practice. Does that say almost as much that his resolve and his resilience is there as 2 bad practices in a row would? Does he get credit for a bounce back, or are they 2 separate entities? You have a bad practice. It is what it is.
It doesn't totally erase the bad ones.
I'm more, just because, all right, just from what my background is, I'm more a person and proponent of practice means a lot more to the people and individuals for being through it. And I think that, of course, you're going to give somebody credit for that. Like, there are going to be times in this preseason, and I'm not naive and dumb, Shedeur Sanders might have some bad practices. Flacco could have some bad practices. It's the nature of the beast. It's built in. You throw the ball, you can have 2 good things happen and about 7 bad things happen, right? So for me, I'll definitely give him credit if he bounces back, because I'm saying this. Don't diminish the fact that these guys are going against ones. I mean, Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the game. Denzel Ward is locking people up. Like, Jim Schwartz got guys, his defense is tough. Like, those guys come off the football and get after people upfield and down. So if you're going to play against those guys are getting you ready to play, man. You ain't going to find too many better defensive ends and defensive lines and active defenses than the Cleveland Browns. Now, it's going to be a little different, but I'll give you credit if you come back and bounce back, because that's what I want to see. I want to see, hey, you made this mistake once. Did you correct it? Did you understand it? Because that's functional memory. That's functional smartness, is understanding, okay, I made this play wrong time. They showed me it on film. We came back, we corrected it, and I recognized the pre-snap. I hit the throw. Boom. Great. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Get to our next topic here. It's brought to us by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion Shots. It's time to fuel up. And it's best to do it with your favorite 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. And let's be honest, some days on the course, or even off it, you need that extra energy boost to stay sharp and energized. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best part of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com today, you can use promo code LOCKEDONGolf to get 20% off your order. The offer only valid until September 30th on one order. It cannot be used with other promotions. The code, not good on subscription orders either. However, whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. So on Saturday, we got this report from Mary Kay Cabot that Shedeur Sanders reported arm soreness in individual drills and was shut down from throwing in team drills for the rest of the day. However, he is back at practice today, expected to be a full go on day 10 of Brown's practice after being shut down with arm soreness. So maybe not that serious big picture-wise. Hopefully it's not that serious big picture-wise, but this is something that reportedly Shedeur reported to the team, said, hey, my arm's a little sore.
Right.
It's not feeling great. Can I have a day off? I can't imagine Shedeur would intentionally pull himself if it wasn't something pretty serious, considering he's in the thick of a 4-person quarterback battle. Jason, do you have any other information you can share with us on this Shedeur arm soreness situation from Saturday? And it's a good sign to see him back today at a very minimum.
Yeah, no, I wasn't out there this weekend. We were tied up all weekend, so I did not go to practice. I'll be out there today after I'm leaving right after the show to go out there. It was funny because I thought back to last year. Remember, Deshaun missed a day with arm soreness, and I said, he hasn't been throwing. Why is his arm sore? And he hadn't thrown at practice in like 4 or 5 days. That one seemed fishy. There was just something. There's no reason for him to have a sore arm. Shedeur, as you said, G's been throwing a lot. He's been staying after and throwing. He's been throwing before. So I totally get, I guess, why his arm would be a little sore. And I think it's smart of him to go to them and tell them that, because the last thing he needs by being 4th on the depth chart is trying to keep something like that quiet and then having a bad day and giving more reason, So it's smart to handle it the way that he did. Ultimately, I don't think it's that big of a deal. That's why Dillon got the reps that he did on Saturday, because somebody had to take the reps, and Kenny's not cleared from the hamstring. So if Shedeur's out, you're not going to give Joe 60 reps at practice. So that's why Dillon had the increased role. It's kind of common sense as to why the first team reps went up. So I'll go out there today. I assume it'll be back to business as usual. And just give him a day, shut it down. They had yesterday off, so he was able to take the full weekend, rest up, and he should be ready to go today.
Yeah, it's a smart move, and let's put it in perspective. I wouldn't be surprised if Dillon Gabriel's arm is a little sore.
Probably.
Because you got to think about it. These dudes, I know Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders, every time they drop back, that's their Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. They putting everything they got in that. Like there is no chill in their atmosphere. Kenny Pickett is fancy talk to say, hey, he trying to get back out here and speed this time type up. We gonna be smart about it. He trying to get back in these team drills. So listen, I think, and plus you throw in the fact that he's out there 40 minutes early, he's 40 minutes late, and when the other guys are doing team reps, they're splitting, say for instance, it's 20 reps, right? They're splitting 6-7 reps apiece over there on the other field, and Shedeur usually works at the beginning of camp with the 3s or some of the 2s mixed in, but he's taking all of the reps on the side field. So the period, you throw 20 passes, he's throwing all 20 of those passes. They're splitting up 20 passes. So I can see where his arm hurts. It's a good sign that he comes back and it's a little sore. So it's a good sign that he comes back, but there's always a point where rookies hit a certain type of wall anyway. Because if you think about it, where these guys come from, they're not used to being in camp where they're throwing the ball all that much. They're not going to be getting all them reps like that and doing that, and they're not going to be throwing at that velocity and that intensity. So it makes sense. Good sign to see him back, but chances are Dillon Gabriel's arm is a little sore, and Kenny Pickett, hey, his legs is a little sore. So that's just part of the game.
There's good and bad to this. I think it's mostly good. I'd say 85% good. And I don't even know if there's 15% bad. I think there's 15% that I would say is a question mark, and here's why. I love the fact that he's in tune enough with his body and confident enough in his ability where he could come forward and say, hey, I'm gonna sit this one out. If you weren't as confident in your ability, you might say, I got to be out there, man.
I got to push through.
I can't go down. I can only go up. And if I go out there or if I stand on the sidelines, I'm losing ground. He was mature enough and in tune enough with his body to say, if I go out there and start throwing the football, I could be doing what Dillon Gabriel did with the 3 for 14. We don't need that. So I love the fact that he tapped out. It's so interesting about a sore arm. There are times in baseball, it's called dead arm. You know what that is. Usually hits you, it hits everybody different times. It usually hits big leaguers around August. You just get to a point, even though you've been in that 5-day rhythm for 3 or 4 months, you get into that point where there's definite fatigue. I always would feel it here. Some guys got elbow, some guys got shoulder. Everybody's different.
It happens in spring training too.
It does. Typically in spring training, what happens is your muscles are fatigued. As much as you work out with weights, there's no replicating throwing a ball. Yeah. First of all, it's one of the most unnatural motions in all of sports. The body is actually designed to throw underhand. That's why your softball pitchers in college can throw every day. 100 pitches doesn't matter because you're not working against muscles. When you throw overhand, you have muscles that are working against one another. So it is common for guys to experience that. I would love to know, and I guess he and maybe Pops would be the ones to answer this. Like, what kind of throwing regimen was he on in the past? Yeah. And I'm guessing it was nowhere near as strenuous as this. He was always the starter. He didn't have anything to prove. In baseball, they're called leverage pitches. If you throw 100 pitches but no leverage pitches, that's a different workload than if you throw 80 but 60 were leverage pitches in a scoreless game. So these are all leverage throws for him.
High leverage.
He has to look good. So he's getting the extra zip on everything. He's throwing everything a little harder than he had to. So that probably leads to this. My thought is a couple of days away, he should be rejuvenated, strong, and ready to go. If it isn't, then you start to get concerned.
Plus, how many more throws has he made from the draft until now that he would not have made had he been a first-round pick?
Exactly.
So because he's a fifth-round pick, he's out on the high school fields, and he's like, I got to throw, I got to throw, I got to throw, I got to throw.
Yeah.
And he very well could have overdone it at some point.
Like, okay, you probably won't hear Joe Flacco getting a tired arm, and someone might say, wait, why does the kid have a sore arm, but old man Joe doesn't have a sore arm? Well, let me tell you this little something about old man strength.
Old men also know how to.
It's real.
Joe also takes off basically every other practice so far.
And here's the thing with Joe. Joe knows that he is what he is. He's not going to change anybody's mind with how he throws the football in camp. Yeah. He's just not. He's 40 years old. He's going to be 40 years old when the season starts.
The die has been cast.
I'll give you
That's a great way of saying it. But you know what? There is something to be said for a lot of times. 2 Saturdays ago, I threw 100 pitches. And we had a kid. We had a kid who's 10 years younger than me saying, what in the world? Well, at some point, you just build up, I don't know if it's scar tissue so it can't hurt anymore or whatever, but it's different for the older guys.
You know, coaches be like, hey, we're going to script the first 15 plays. Joe has the first 15 plays of life he's dealing with. Like, he got scripted life. That's how old he is. So it's almost like running like a 400. And you're running the 400 and you see some of these young dudes get out. Yeah. That first 200.
Pace yourself.
And you looking at them, you going to run out of gas, young pup. You doing too much. Joe come in looking around. He expends no energy. He expends no energy doing nothing. He's probably wearing slides. He ain't doing nothing extra. He know how to take care of his body. And y'all going to be getting these reps. Joe like, listen, I'm throwing these routes. I got a big enough. I'm throwing these 75%. I ain't giving. I ain't putting nothing on this. And then
the young pups hit the 250 mark.
Yeah, they hit
and
that.
Their legs feel like they're 800 pounds each.
And then when you get to that 300 and it's time for a kick, you ain't got it. You just trying to dig for it. You ain't got it. Yep. That hurts your heart when this happens if you know track.
It does hurt your heart. It hurts because you know you're fast enough to finish strong, but you ain't got it.
They start running with that back tight. you start looking like the Hawk.
All out of form.
Why you running with your arms to the side like this? You ain't efficient. You're done. And they just get smoked at the end. You be like, man.
He'll be okay, though. I do think he'll be okay. I'm anxious to see what kind of zip he has on the ball today. And maybe you might want to think about cutting back on your pre and post throws. Just a little bit. The hay's in the barn.
Yeah, you've put yourself
with your arm.
You've put yourself in contention. Like he was like, "Listen, I just got to be in a conversation. Just let me get me in a conversation." Because now I think he'll play a lot. I think him and Dillon Gabriel play a lot. I don't know what I'll be fascinated to see how these.
I can't wait. They haven't said after a Friday. Kevin didn't know.
I mean,
or he hadn't told the team.
Well,
yet.
Shedeur right now is actually speaking to the media, like right now.
Oh, good.
And he just said his first question was,
how's the arm?
He was asked, how's the arm? And he said, I'm well back at practice. I'm thankful.
Good.
He said the arm soreness was, quote, from adjusting to starting and stopping. Honestly, my arm, body weren't used to that. I've never done that in my football career so far, but I'm back. I feel better after 2 days off.
Okay, good.
I don't know what he means by starting and
I
stopping.
think he might mean throwing a lot and then stopping. So, like, it's like a pitcher. If you're in a 15 or 20-minute rain delay, you're coming out.
Yeah.
Because just the elongation of the muscles,
yeah.
and you cool and you warm and you cool and you warm. You don't want to do that. It's not great for your arm. I'm guessing that's what he means, Jay, by starting and stopping.
I think he means like, okay, like if you get out to practice 40 minutes early and you're throwing. It's hot out there. You get warm. You're doing your thing.
Then he's doing team workouts or whatever.
Then you do
not
team
throwing for a while.
Individual.
And then you're heating it up again.
Sense.
It's like a car engine. You got to gradually flow into that. And when you throw a lot in particular, and then there's a lengthy period of time, it's really hard to come back out and just start firing at 100% again. You'll hurt yourself.
That's why I don't ever do lunch dates. People are like, you want to go out to lunch and eat? I'm like, bro, how are y'all eating these big steaks at these lunches and then going back and clocking in, bro? Like, you going to go back to the office?
Take a nap.
I'm going to sleep. Like, if I eat, once I eat, I'm done for the day. I'm not getting back on this computer checking on emails. Y'all crazy.
That makes sense.
I would imagine Pickett's not going to play coming off the hamstring, I wouldn't think.
I would be stunned.
And why would you play Joe Flacco in the first preseason game?
Right.
So I would imagine
a half for Shedeur and a half for Dillon.
And half for Dillon.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
The second question to Shedeur was, do you know what the plan is for Friday yet? And he says he still doesn't know what the plan for himself or any of the quarterbacks is.
Yeah, Kevin said on Friday that, and he didn't say that he had a plan and he knew the plan. He just said that he hasn't communicated it to the players.
They know
My
what they're doing.
guess is he's got it figured out.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
just going to wait until whatever, maybe after the joints or whatever, the joint practice on Wednesday, and then maybe he'll tell everybody what their role is going to be. But I'm with you, Jay. I don't need to see Joe Flacco. I don't need to see Joe Flacco until the third preseason game. If they decide that he's the starter, I want to see him. I don't want it to be like last year where you go, all right, let's roll out the circus.
Yeah.
And the clowns are dropping the balls as they're juggling and the lions are falling off of the. No, let's get some reps in there. But I don't want to see him in the first game for sure, and probably not much in the second, if at all.
I don't now see this. I just got scared. I got chills, like because now, like I'm trying to see these preseason games. What if they look trash?
Well,
what if they look?
It very well could.
I'm find out against the Panthers,
right?
though.
They're rookies.
But it's the Panthers, though.
I know.
And if you out here and you looking remember when we played Jacksonville a couple of years ago and it was raining. This was after Deshaun Watson had got suspended for 11 games, but they let him play those preseason
games. I remember that.
And the first thing they did was run this reverse to Anthony Schwartz.
Oh, I do remember that. For the very first play.
And he got tackled, and then they threw him another ball that bounced off his shoulder pads and got picked off. Then it was a third down conversion. They threw it to, I said, they spot shadowing Anthony Schwartz.
Yeah.
And they look trash. I don't necessarily want them to look trash against the Panthers.
Well, they can't look, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. You can't not put them out there because you don't want them to look like trash. I want to see the kids. Yeah. I want to know what we have in these two young guys. Yeah. I want to see who has command of the huddle, who looks like they belong, who looks like they don't. And
we can find out.
I want to say this Monday with all emotion removed. If they come out and either one of them looks great, obviously that's a good thing.
Sure.
That's a great thing. If they look bad, it doesn't mean the world is ending. If they look great, I remember when Brady Quinn looked great in the preseason. Remember that? I remember Brady Quinn lighting it up in the preseason.
Yeah, we thought we got him.
So
no, D.T. Aura was the greatest quarterback for 4 weeks that we've ever seen.
Kyle
and in his pro
Sloter
career, he's
has
got 10
every
picks and 1
preseason
touchdown.
passing record that exists and has been a horrific NFL quarterback.
So
He's barely good in the UFL.
Everyone's gonna overreact one way or the other to everything that they see.
Hold your fire.
I'm just saying.
Hey,
hold your fire.
It's not the end of the world if they're rough, and it's not Super Bowl bound if they look good.
I'm gonna prepare y'all. If they come out here and throw these touchdown passes, you gonna have to get off Twitter and the internet. You going to have to leave because it's gonna be obnoxious.
I'm already.
I'm with you. I'm hardly ever on.
Unplug. I'm telling you, if he throw 2 touchdowns, I'm not even gonna say who it is. If he throws 2 touchdown passes, y'all gonna have to get on the group text and be like, listen, can we just avoid all internet access? Because this is getting wild.
Are you talking about Dillon Gabriel?
Neither
one. Why would it be different?
You know why it'd be
different.
No, I don't.
You know why?
I don't know why it will be different.
Because because one guy has 55 million followers, right? It's just like if the Kardashians did something. If the Kardashians
don't use them as an example because they're good at nothing.
They're good at marketing.
Hey, hold on.
Just look good.
They're good at marketing.
Well, they mastered that.
They are great at Does Kim have a law degree now?
She was going to law school. I never heard that she actually passed the bar.
Yeah.
See, she got a law degree? Listen,
but
shit, it came up.
Here's what, I think that the reaction should be the same. Shedeur Sanders stinks.
It should,
It should be, but it won't be.
And that goes to my point.
It won't be.
And the little bit that I dove into looking at comments over the weekend, I'm like,
see, I thought you was unplugged.
Divided.
I thought you was unplugged. You just said you was done.
No. Here's what I see. What people send me.
Okay.
And I'm like, stop it. And what little I think I maybe saw 4 or 5 things. I think Mike sent one in the rundown.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that
because I wanted to add it to the context
and I'm like,
of our conversation.
Why are we so divided?
What did you say? I didn't even see it. What did you say?
It was an embedded link
from Daryl.
Yeah,
Daryl basically
said
that.
And so I had to click on that when you sent the rundown yesterday, and now I'm in the tweet and I'm like, let's see how this was. Let's see how Cleveland digested this.
Hey, listen.
And one camp ran over to one side of the room and aimed their rifles, and the other camp ran over to the other side
there's only
and
one
aimed
camp.
their rifles.
Dillon ain't got no camp.
No, he does. I saw there were a lot of people that were saying, so what?
It's not a Dillon camp.
But
it's
a continuous.
No, I don't even think it was anti-Daryl.
It's an anti-Shedeur camp.
Anti-Shedeur camp.
Yes.
And see, that is the problem. Like, bro, we're all wearing the same freaking helmet.
Jay, let me tell you this.
Everybody's in orange.
But the Shedeur fans that have arrived don't care about the helmet. They
care
about
don't come
Shedeur.
into our house and disrupt our flow.
They only care about Shedeur.
They got a vibe going.
They don't care what color
They would argue your vibe is losing. That's their vibe.
Well, guess what? When you drafted him, you drafted the circus. You drafted the circus.
Hey, we're in-laws now.
That's a point. That's a point that we haven't really discussed. I don't know if that's what you meant by this. The Browns invited this in.
That's exactly what I meant by this.
They knew what was coming.
Yes.
And they did it anyway.
And there were teams that said specifically we knew what came along with it and we didn't want it.
And there are teams that I think are mature enough and structurally strong enough to withstand the brunt of that. I'm not sure I'd put the Browns in that category.
I would rank us 32 out of 32. Just in that, in terms of can we handle dysfunction? What happened? Now, you think we'd be good at it because we have a lot of it.
I wrote
we
after
invite it and we don't handle it.
I wrote after the draft. The sports car was still smoking wrapped around the tree, and they went running out to get another one.
By the way, you say when will it all?
That's a great analogy.
They took the insurance check and bought another one.
When will it all stop? When will we all be united? Well, listen.
Jimmy sells the team.
It's kind of hard to unite the 7 kingdoms. You got to listen. You could be a Baratheon. You could be Snow. You could be a Targaryen.
I don't know of what you're speaking. I don't know what that means.
Gee, I got that one. That was good.
Okay.
That was fire.
It's Game of Thrones.
That was hard.
All I know is this.
Well played.
The Cleveland Browns all wear the same color. It's one flag here. And if we're going to treat one player who has an awful performance any differently than we treat the other, what are we doing here? There's one set of ground rules.
Gee, you pay closer.
If you look good, and that's that. There's no I don't want to hear any. If Shedeur Sanders looks good, I don't want to hear from the crowd that's anti-Shedeur, oh, yeah, well, he did it in the second half when the third team was. I don't want to hear that.
Nobody here has followed this, I think, as closely as Garrett. He knows this better than anybody. It's my understanding, my impression of everything. There are the Shedeurians.
Yes.
And then there are Browns fans.
Yes.
And Browns fans are tired of the Shedeurians.
That is a great way of putting it. Now, I understand that. Yes.
It's August 4th. And true Browns fans would love for Shedeur to play well because they've been dying for a franchise quarterback. But they are already sick of hearing from the Shedurians.
So here, I gave this grand analogy, Mikey, and I'm going to give it to you and pass it over. When you get married to somebody, right? You marry that person.
And her family.
But it takes time, over a long period of time, before you get to actually know who your sister-in-law is, or your father-in-law actually invites you on the fishing trips now, or your nephews look up to you as a role model. You don't choose your family members, right? Your in-laws. So that first holiday season when you get married and they look at you, they don't want you to bring nothing to the table. You don't know their customs. You don't know nothing. They'd be like, sit over there, Garrett, and just be quiet. And they'd be like, I don't think your family likes me. And they're like, how'd you guess? Aunt Sally, she the last one. You've been in the family 10 years. Aunt Sally finally talked to you Thanksgiving last year, right? And you're like, what happened to this? So I always compare it to this. When you come in, people support people, right? We live here in Cleveland. We've been here forever, right? The only time you get new fans, because football's a religion, you don't get new fans. Like, you either here or there. People get drafted. There's a lot of people in Oklahoma came with Baker.
Sure.
And so those new people say, look.
And Texas from Johnny Manziel. He brought it too.
He brings it. So those people is like this. My allegiance is to him. Now, if we decide to all be kumbaya and he wins some football games, then guess what happens?
We can coexist.
Then all of a sudden, Aunt Sally starts talking to you.
Sure.
And Uncle Joe says, hey, come on over.
But if they bring this Johnny Manziel game in here, it was the Manzelians.
Yeah.
Just like the Shedeurians. All those fans, and Baker brought his too, all those fans weren't here for Brown's success.
No, it's Baker.
They were here for Manziel's success and Baker's success.
But
that's the wrong reason to be at the party.
But if you win, it
solves everything.
With their guy.
Hey, I got to say this real quick. I know Mike wants to go. I got to say this real quick. You were right, and I was wrong. We ain't never seen nothing like shit.
I told you. Let's go.
Because when you said that early on, I'm like, what are you talking about? They carried the games in Oklahoma, but that was just Oklahoma. That was for Baker. It was like the Oklahoma fan base. They carried the games in Norman, Browns games in Norman. I'm like, that was just as big.
Are you telling me that this is the biggest circus the Browns have ever been a part of?
Yes.
Jay, you're not.
Yes.
Wait, because I remember, like, I'm not draft.
I told you.
I remember the Deshaun Watson circus.
No, that was a different.
That was a hold up.
Because of what he brought with him.
Yeah, but that divided the actual Browns fan base. That wasn't Deshaun fans.
The Baker show.
I'm telling you,
the fans.
This is different.
It's not close.
I hope you guys are both wrong in that assessment because the other ones tore our fan base and our team apart. Like gone, done.
The difference.
How many of those are we going to have within a 5-year span? We had Baker and Odell. Then we had Deshaun. Yeah. Now we've got another one.
Yeah.
Stop drafting these and trading for and signing these polarizing figures.
But here's the thing. The one thing that's difference between him is he's actually likable. He does his job.
That's true.
He's humble.
That's true.
The locker room likes him. He's respectful. He does his thing in the community. And for the most part, when you talk about him, it's hard pressed for anybody that has met him to say anything bad. So that's the great thing.
Not only that, I've talked to people that thought badly of him, met him, and have come out right away and said, man, I had him wrong. He's a good kid.
Extremely likable.
Yeah.
And I talked to people.
And he comes across that way.
I talked to people in the Browns prior to the draft when there was all this stuff going on around who said, okay, whatever you want to say about him, ultimately he's a good kid. Yeah. At his core, he's a really good kid.
And by the way, I would take one of those over the Johnny Manziel.
Oh, 100%.
Baker had baggage too when he came here.
Absolutely.
You remember what he had?
He sued his dad.
No, I'm not even talking about the family drama.
That was going on then.
Yeah, but I'm talking about he fled from the police and all of that. Like, okay, Shedeur got a speeding ticket and people wanted to get all up in arms. So a lot of people get speeding tickets. That doesn't move my needle one bit. to me, I think before you can be a truly great player that galvanizes a team, you have to have good character. I think it's a necessity.
Yeah.
I do. Rarely, how many teams, and I'm sure you guys can probably think of one or two, how many teams have really rallied and galvanized behind an absolute total jerk? In Tampa, Warren wasn't the center of that universe. Even though he was on the field, he's probably the most impactful player. The team did not revolve around Warren Sapp. They revolved around guys like Derek Brooks, who, was the antithesis to Warren Sapp in terms of just a character guy. And so because Shedeur has that characteristic going for him, I think he's got a much better chance here than Johnny Manziel did, who came in and I'm like, I don't think this guy has the character or the person to succeed.
But Mikey, as we toss it to you,
no, we got this is interesting. I want to go for another second.
You have to, and I like the fact that he understands that you got to keep the main thing, and that is none of this works, none of it matters unless you go out there and play.
He got a ball.
He got to play. I like the fact he told his dad, "Hey, no, don't come. Like I'm not getting reps right now. I need to work on some different things."
I like that too.
And I'm gonna show you when you come. Don't like I'm working. So I like that attitude, and he understands that. Look, to be a good and to be a franchise guy, and he wouldn't want it no other way. Like I can say I like you, I can like what you do. But when you get on that field, it's about what you put on that tape.
If he steps in here and becomes Jaden Daniels' 2025 version, in no time flat, he will bring the fan base together. But that's what it's going to take. He's going to have to, and I'm not saying he's got to go, 12-5 and make it to the playoffs. Just show us that you're the guy, and that we don't have to think going forward who's got. Imagine the flexibility this gives the Browns. If he comes in and has a rookie of the year caliber season where we no longer have to say, well, we don't have our quarterback. Now you can use those first round resources in next year's draft for other holes that you have, and you've got a lot of them.
You can. That's why I disagree with the premise of, all right, well, they're not going, like, if you say they're going to sabotage him, right? I said, bro, if they were smart, they realized this. If they were smart, they would realize he's the fastest way. Hey, Andrew Barry, he's the fastest way that we don't care what you did 5-6 years ago. Kevin Stefanski, you already got Coach of the Year twice. You telling me that you came across a 5th-round pick and he actually looks good and he's balling? They'll give you a lifetime deal if you want one. And look, and guess what? It works out for Jimmy too. Jimmy, you got a 3-year runway. You know how many jerseys you can sell? I mean, people.
Not only that, you've got a quarterback on a 5th-round salary.
And you get rid of the Deshaun Watson whole thing because you got a guy on the 5th round. And guess what? If Dillon Gabriel is great, he has limitations, you say, okay, well, we'll just have to be our backup. So you got your backup quarterback or your starting quarterback. And some people say even vice versa. Even if Dillon Gabriel, that gets you out of jail too. So that's why people like me are saying, guys, it may not be the obvious answer, and I know there's some skin in the game, but sometimes you got to step on a limb. If you want to get out of jail free, these two guys can get you a lot further, and then them picks next year look like gold.
And just from the salary cap, I know Deshaun Watson still has 2 years, but when he drops off, imagine in that 3rd year, if both these guys end up being 1 and 2, in whatever order, I don't care. You've got your starting and your backup quarterback on 3rd and 5th round rookie contracts. You've got real money and real runway to go out and get some free agents and make some noise.
And Jimmy's pockets makes it a lot easier to
Of course, because he'll write the checks. He's proven that.
And McNuggets, I'm going to tell you what. We got 2 first-round picks next year, and I think this is a perfect segue because I think there's a guy named Micah Parsons out there available.
It is. We're going to talk a little Guardians before we get to Micah Parsons, though.
Project Stockpile.
The problem is he's available now, and we don't know what the quarterbacks are going to be.
Right. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
Behind Cart.
Yeah.
Before we do, we are going to talk about the Guardians weekend series. It's brought to us by Game Time. We've all been there, logging on early, waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show that you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop the closer it gets to showtime, so you can save up to 60% with some killer last-minute deals. Take the guesswork out of buying your concert tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. We'll get to that Micah Parsons convo here in about 10 minutes, G. But first, the Guardians finally called up CJ Kayfus this weekend. He delivered an RBI in his first major league at bat, helping the Guardians take 2 of 3 from the Twins over the weekend. Jason, what'd you see from CJ Kayfus and the Guards this weekend in his major league debut?
It was great just to have him in Cleveland. Obviously, we've been asking for that and hoping for that all season long. I think he was behind. Obviously, he's learning a new position. They're putting him in right field, and I think it took longer. I think the explanation is it took him longer to catch up in the outfield, and that was the delay. And
that's understandable too, by the way.
It's a spot he's never played before. So the bat was ahead of the defense in terms of that. I think this probably signals they're moving on from Nolan Jones. They've given him April, May, June, and July. And we can talk about StatCast numbers all you want. Eventually, it's sort of like Dillon Gabriel in the processing. Eventually, it has to show up on the field.
Yep.
And it just hasn't been there for Nolan Jones. So this is an opportunity now for Kayfus. They're still in the hunt. Like, I know it doesn't feel like it. I know it feels like they pulled the ripcord on the season. They're very much in the wild card hunt. It feels like they pulled a ripcord on the season when they trade Shane Bieber. But they held on to Stephen Kwan. That really would have been the ripcord on the season. And by keeping Carlos Santana at first and putting Kayfus in the lineup and putting him in right field, they're telling you they're still going for it. And we'll see. I mean, you see it right there. They're 3 games out and only 2 teams to catch. So they can still make a run at this thing, as unlikely as it feels. It feels unlikely, but the numbers tell you they're still in it. And Kayfus he'll struggle at times. You know, I don't think anyone's expecting him to come up here and be the savior. I think the point was just, hey, we've seen enough of what is up here now. Give one of these other guys a chance. And if he does struggle, okay, so be it. But at least start the clock on that.
Manzardo struggled mightily last year, too, on his first call-up.
You at least have to start the clock on that. Let him see what he doesn't know so that he can make the adjustments. Only problem is we're getting close to the end of the minor league season now. So I think he's here to stay, whether he struggles or not, because there's really not enough time to send him back down and then bring him back up. It sort of is what it is at this point.
Yeah, we need him up here.
Do you guys think that they took a page out of the Tigers playbook from last year and said, look,
when they traded Flaherty?
Yeah, they looked like they sold off pieces and parts, but then the team kind of reacted and said, okay, well, no, we still can come out here and do this.
The Tigers flip came after the All-Star or after the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Well, they sold at the deadline.
But that's when the Tigers suddenly reinvented themselves and became a much better team.
Everyone wants to point to that. It's sort of like saying, well, the Pistons won a championship without a star.
Right.
It's like we search and search and search
the outlier.
for the one example, and we ignore the 99. Yeah. 99 out of 100 teams that trade their best pitcher at the trade deadline, which the Guardians did, and Shane Bieber, which the Tigers did, and Jack Flaherty, 99 times out of 100, they don't make the playoffs. The Tigers are the one team that somehow is able to turn around. Can the Guardians be 2 out of 100? I don't know. That's what the next 2 months are
I'm fascinated by some numbers that I dug up. I don't know if you guys remember this, but in June, when they actually had a worse record than the Colorado Rockies, I kept saying on this show and upstairs on Channel 3, something is wrong with this team. Something is going on in the clubhouse, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if 2 guys got in a fight. I don't know if somebody was messing with someone else's girl. I don't know, but I know baseball, and I know what I'm looking at isn't what they are. Well, something is wrong. So I went back, and I looked. In the month leading up to the Ortiz suspension, the Cleveland Guardians were 8-22. I don't know how much of a notice that the Guardians had that this was coming, but I'm told there was a notice.
It was less than 24 hours.
So, no, on Ortiz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Less than 24 hours.
I was told that the team was informed well before the suspension happened. If you heard something other than that, I'm hearing something different than what you're hearing.
Yeah, I thought it was like Chris got on a plane and flew to Chicago to meet the team when he found out the day before.
When he found out the suspension. I'm talking about an investigation was going on.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so, and maybe you're right, and maybe my information is wrong, but, I just can't understand how a team goes 8-22 that at the time was 10 games over 500. Maybe even more than that. I don't know where they peaked at their record. After the Ortiz news hit and the suspension happened, they still lost for a while, but then they got hot. Going into the All-Star break, you remember they won 5 of 6, and it looked like, okay. Now, granted, the schedule has a lot to do with this. That 8-22 schedule was a bear.
Yeah.
Now they're playing the easiest schedule in baseball. After the Class A news, they went from being red hot to 1-4. You can imagine how that would take the air out of your dugout and clubhouse.
It's devastating.
You just lost one of your best starters. Now you lost your best closer, and all of a sudden your head's reeling. However, since that time, since the Class A suspension, they've kicked it back in again. They're 4-2 after the Class A news broke. I think that if you're looking at the lay of the land, I know that mathematically you could catch the Tigers. That's not going to happen. The Tigers went through a terrible stretch where they weren't who they really are. And the Guardians still couldn't close the gap more than 7 games. Now I think it's at 8. They're 3 games out for a wild card. Guys, we've seen teams lose 3-game leads on the wild card in a weekend.
Yeah.
So is it possible? Oh, it's possible. Is it unlikely? Yeah, it's kind of unlikely. You got Seattle there.
Yeah,
Seattle is a rework team. Texas is a rework team.
Seattle's going to keep going. They're not coming back.
It's still unlikely. But I'll say this. The vibe in the dugout, and I know you guys have noticed this too watching the game, there's life again. Whatever was wrong has been fixed. There's energy. There's smiles. There's laughter. Yesterday, they give up, I don't know what Cantillo was thinking in the first inning. I thought he was hitting too much of the plate. He gives up 4 runs. He settles in, and he's great the rest of the way. They end up scoring what ended up being the winning run on just a fluky little play. Then they get 2 runs in the 9th inning, and you think, wow, they might not be dead yet. They might be able to come back and take this game and put it in the left-hand column.
Can I ask you both of y'all a question? How do you because you mentioned that the vibe is different. How do you think the teammates of Ortiz and Clase feel about it?
Let down.
Angry.
Angry, let down.
Because
betrayed.
In baseball, when I played baseball in high school, the vibe in a baseball clubhouse is completely different from basketball and football.
It is.
And so they're I'm not going to say they're more principled than anybody, but it's more of okay, play the right way. And if you have somebody and the allegation is them throwing pitches, guys are like, what do you mean? Come on, man.
I'm sure there was anger, confusion. They're just, more than anything, it's a betrayal. It's like a brotherhood betrayal.
Clase's been here for how many years now?
4 or 5?
Yeah.
He's here, I think, 5 or 6, I think he's been
Maybe
here.
6. And it's you feel
Ortiz
let down.
just got here, so you probably you don't get a chance to know him maybe as
right.
well.
But,
although you spend every day with him for a few months. But a guy who's been here.
Even though that I know that he just got here and he gets a little bit of a break for that. And Clase, you're looking at going, man, bro, these have been your brothers. You've gone through playoff battles with these guys. What are you doing?
He's made $15 million.
I know. What are you doing? You're bending over to pick up a $5 bill.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
So when you say it looks like they're playing with a little bit, I think they look at it like, bro, you brought shame to the rest of us because now people is looking like, are the Guardians full of? Because remember they came out with the comment that nobody else, they've been notified that nobody else in the Guardians organization.
Yeah. So then we saw some reporting that ended up so far not to be true, but somebody's saying, there's other things in the hopper.
So guys is like, bro, you got us looking crazy on top of it, and we lose you for God knows how long.
And you saw the memes. There was the next day after Ortiz, there was a rain delay.
Yeah.
And someone sent me a meme of the movie Hangover, and they're all drunk, and they're at the casino, and they're rolling dice, and it said, live look inside the Guardians clubhouse during the rain delay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now all of them are dirty by association. How do you think that makes all of them feel?
Yeah.
I'm not betting on the game. These guys bet on the game. it's so much different. There's different infractions, but the cardinal sin in baseball is betting.
Yeah.
It's posted on every clubhouse. I said Friday on Channel 3, I think that baseball, and this isn't why this happened, but baseball needs another poster boy for not to gamble.
That's why this is scary.
For 50 years, they had Shoeless Joe Jackson. For 70 years, they had Shoeless Joe Jackson. You do not bet on baseball. This is what will happen. We'll go from the White Sox to the Black Sox. That's how bad it was. And then they got Pete Rose. And Pete Rose was the hit king. More hits than anybody. And they banished his ass from baseball. And they kept him from the Hall of Fame. And for a while, that kept the game, as far as we know, fairly clean. But now, betting is everywhere. Yep. Betting is in our face. It's on advertisements when you watch baseball games. It's on the team's social media accounts when they send out their starting lineup. Bet365, which has been stripped from that for now. But you still see it at the ballpark. It's everywhere. They've got a casino right next to the ballpark where you can place bets. So I think baseball probably said, we need another poster boy. Pete Rose is dead. Half the players in the league don't know who Pete Rose is, who he was. Now, you know who everybody in the league is going to know for the next 10 to 15 years? Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase, because they now are the Pete Rose and the Shoeless Jackson of this era. I don't think that we'll ever see them again in a major league uniform.
Percentage chance of a lifetime ban.
I think it's 95%. Yeah. I'd be stunned if we ever see
over 90. Well over 90.
Man, y'all talk about federal indictment time. You got to at least do 85% of your time.
RICO charges, right? This is racketeering.
So 90%, could they possibly do jail time?
I think they could, Jay.
We have to wait and see where the evidence goes. They need more of a
smoking gun. You know how the league
we don't know what evidence
we don't know what evidence they have. But you know how the league and the NFL can say, we don't care that the police didn't file charges.
Yeah.
Their bar is different than our bar. In our bar, you exceeded it. You did it. We know you did it. See Deshaun Watson. Okay? They slammed him. And as far as the law is concerned, he is a clean citizen. He never did anything wrong. I think the same thing applies here for baseball. Baseball, if they get the smoking gun, so in other words, I think this is what someone told me middle of last week that knows about RICO charges and how these things go from the epicenter out. If they're able to get their hands on the devices of Ortiz and Clase, and then they can cross-reference that with the people that cashed bets on their pitches,
that's a wrap.
And they can put them in their circle, then that's the smoking gun. Yeah. Then I think you might see federal charges, and it could raise to racketeering.
They don't even need the phones. They got the cell phone towers.
Well, that's location. I don't know that they would probably need some communication. And I would think they would be smart enough not to do electronic communication, but you never know.
If T-Mobile gets subpoenaed.
See, that's where I think
it's a problem.
Some of the suspensions in the past, it was it's easy to find the bets that were placed, right?
Yeah.
This is a little bit more complicated to dig out the evidence, which is why I think they had to pull them, investigate. It's not so cut and dried of, okay, we have the receipts, literally the receipts of you placing bets with DraftKings or whoever, right. So you're done. This is a little bit more nuanced than that, obviously, but I'm with you. If they come up with the evidence, if they find enough evidence, they'll never throw another pitch in baseball again. And for what? For
I know.
What?
It's
and that's the part that
look what Clase gives up in future earnings.
And I actually wrote this and they took it out. I don't know why they took it out, but I look at baseball differently than the other sports because of AAA and AA, and it's sort of like a grooming ground for gamblers to get in with these kids before they make any money, and
when they need money,
develop relationships with them, and then now you've got them when they become major leaguers, or now you got them to give you injury information on because they all talk. The guys in AAA know the guys in Cleveland. They just played with them last year. Yeah. So they can give you information on what's going on in the clubhouse, who's hurt, who's got a hamstring, who's fighting an elbow that's not made public.
Yeah. No one has the bandwidth, Jay, to properly police this.
But in football doesn't have a farm system. Football doesn't have. They got college, but they're making money now in college.
No, I see
with
what
NIL
you're saying,
deals.
where the younger guys.
NBA, the G League isn't really. They're trying to make it, but it isn't really. Baseball to me is unique because of.
I wonder why
the
they
farm
took that
system.
out. Did they tell you?
I don't know.
If you asked, would they tell you?
Yeah, probably. But and then I also got into it's not. I don't think this is a secret that a lot of teams sort of prey on the guys who come from Latin America who come from nothing.
Yeah, sure.
Who have made nothing in their life.
Yep.
And a lot of these guys, especially when you are a free agent signing at 16, 17. Jose Ramirez didn't make anything until he got to arbitration. So it's just ripe for gamblers, I think, to really exploit. And it's just something that we haven't really discussed.
And the way you snuff it out, Jay, you can tell these guys there was once upon a time, there was a guy named Pete Rose, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's cute. And they would listen to that the same way we listened to, once upon a time, there was a guy named Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was when everything was in black and white. Yeah, that's cute. Today, and I hear what you're saying about the Latin American players. I do think that for whatever reason, whether it's cultural or preying on kids that are coming from a different area and are probably more economically depressed growing up, whatever that is, they now have two poster boys for, oh, no, I won't even I won't even talk to that because whatever I might become, I'm jeopardizing.
Yep.
Like, how much is Emmanuel Clase? How much is this going to cost him?
He had, I think he was, he's either made $10 million with 15 to come, or he's made 15 with another 10
But
million.
I mean, I'm talking about his next contract.
He's got $10 million on this contract.
Yeah, this contract is big enough.
He's got, I think, 2 $10 million club options each year.
Hey, man.
I can't remember. I just wrote it. I don't remember. He's made like 15-ish million, maybe more than that, 20 million. If you can get to that, if you can get to a guy who's made 15 million,
yeah, who's off limits?
Yeah. Hey man, listen, Emmanuel Clase, hey, give him the syndicate. You might want to go cut that deal. Maybe you wasn't a lone wolf.
You might all the deals he wants.
Well, that's the only thing I said. It's like, how can baseball definitively say it ends with Clase?
Right.
When they hadn't yet spoken, to my knowledge, they hadn't spoken to him.
No.
So
they hadn't interviewed him. They've been investigating him, but they haven't sat down with him.
Hey, I might have to say, listen, I got some information for you all that might be advantageous.
Yeah, but even, whatever deal he cuts might keep him out of prison.
Listen.
But
it ain't going to get him back in baseball.
It ain't going to get him back in Major League Baseball.
No, I don't. Listen, I'm not trying to get deported.
I get that, but he's going home. Hey, when Pete Rose was facing the federal charges, Pete said they made a deal. They swervy-derved Pete Rose. Bart Giamatti said, look, you haven't apologized. You haven't admitted it. Pete said on Good Morning America, I think he came out, he's like, well, yeah, I bet on baseball. I did it. But I never bet against my team to lose, but I bet on baseball. But Bart's like, okay, that's cool.
All right, peace.
You still ain't getting in the Hall of Fame.
He's still out of here.
All right, we're going to get to our next topic. G, you teased this before. We're going to talk a little Micah Parsons rumors after a reminder that if you need to fuel up, you better be doing it with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion shots. 5-Hour Energy Transfusion brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot, whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends. This one's a hole-in-one for your golf game. Golf is all about the good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. This code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. G, Micah Parsons is unhappy. Dallas said he is done playing for the Cowboys. He has officially requested a trade, and lo and behold, Bovada put up Micah Parsons' next team odds, and the Raiders are the favorites if he's going to leave Dallas. And look who's number 2, G. The Browns at plus 600, the second favorites to land Micah Parsons if a trade were to happen. So I want to ask you guys this, and Jay, you basically alluded to it earlier. Does it make sense for the Browns to go after Micah Parsons or any player of that caliber, any kind of blockbuster deal, and give up future assets if they aren't 100% certain at the quarterback position? G, we'll start with you on this.
You gonna start? I was gonna wait this out, but I'll go ahead and start.
You can go last if you want.
No. I'm gonna start this thing. Listen. Now I sat here the other day. There was another guy who came
Operation
up.
Stockpile. I know where you're going.
But I did say that last time. They asked that we want to get Terry McLaurin. I said, come on, man. We ain't getting no Terry McLaurin. He's 30 years old, man. He ain't never been no speedster. He want crazy money. I'm like, bro, plus we don't even know who's gonna run the ball or play quarterback. That's an offensive player. Now let me just say this. As general, lieutenant, captain, first corporal, all the above, letter D of Project Stockpile, this one is different. This is Micah Parsons. This is undoubtedly probably the second best defensive player in the game. The thought process just the thoughts of having Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett on the same team, you might be able to run Wildcat and win 9 games. You could just put I don't know, you could run tight end screens. Do you understand what that is, Jay and Jason?
I do, but what's his contract terms?
Whatever he wants.
No. Is he requesting a trade and sign?
Yes, he wants a new contract that Dallas will not give him a contract.
Okay.
Or Dallas, to this point, has been unwilling.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, Dallas could trade him, and the new team doesn't have to sign him. They can just trade him.
I would like to sign him.
Of course you would.
I want him.
But a deterrent for trading for him would be if you couldn't get a deal up front.
Oh, okay.
Now, usually when a player asks for a trade, they want to be traded and signed by someone that's going to pay them. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that precludes. Like, I still think the Cowboys could trade him to the Cardinals if they wanted. If the Cardinals gave them the best package.
The reason why the Browns are up there is because they got 2 first-round picks.
I imagine so, yeah, and because they've got an owner that just loves.
And they have an owner, and
he's Jerry Jones Part 2. He's small, poorer Jerry Jones, and or maybe even richer. I don't know.
Do you want to trade Micah Parsons to the NFC? Not really.
No, but is it 1 year left on his deal? That's what I don't know.
Yeah.
So he has this coming season on his deal.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, and I can't do a trade and sign, then no. I'm not going to put him on a team that's projected to finish last. A team that I see over and over and over and over is projected to have is 32 in the power rankings.
Let me tell you this.
I know he'd make a difference, but he doesn't throw the ball and he doesn't catch the ball. And the last time I checked, that's how you win games.
And
so to put him on our team for 1 year, and then let's say, here's a scenario. Dallas trades him.
If you're trading for him, you're signing him to an extension.
Exactly, and that's the only way I'm doing it. There's no way I would do it for a 1 year rental. No way. No. Because the price is going to be high. And we don't have assets on our team to give up, so we'd have to give up draft picks. So we'd be right back into a situation where we lose the coveted draft pick.
If you tell me that draft, well, here's the thing. You tell me that draft pick is better than Micah Parsons, it's not.
No, it won't be one draft pick.
You probably have to give up a couple.
It'll be multiple picks.
Hey, we'll get multiple picks.
Jay, am I crazy on that?
First. Yeah, you're getting 2 first for him.
It's the same. I agree. It's the same Myles Garrett conversation we had all winter.
Right. If they want to, if it's me, you want one of these first next year? Fine. I'll give you one in next year.
Well, I would definitely give up one of the first.
One, and then I still need one of those.
And piss off your 27.
Yeah, get that out of here too. And my thought process is get that out of here. My process is this, man. You got to understand.
That's wrecking the sports car and going out and buying a brand new one.
Out of here, bro.
Because what wrecked our franchise was giving up 3 first-round draft picks.
But here's bear with me here. Yes,
I want the Maserati.
Give
me the turbo. Yeah, I'm gonna need the turbo.
This is 2 Bugattis. You got to understand something.
Yeah, you're right about that.
The price of guess what? Yes, it is about throwing the football. Guess what? You can't throw the football. Do you imagine Jim Schwartz with Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett?
No, I can't.
Listen, you put Joe Flacco, get in the hyperbaric time chamber. Go in there and get your body right. We need you to listen, it don't matter. At that point, you're looking at okay, we're playing the Cleveland Browns. What are you gonna do? And you still have Denzel Ward. They're not it's a problem. That is the only thing that I'll be willing to completely blow up all the other stuff. You know why? because I just know how devastating that is.
He's a difference maker.
I mean, when you got that, I just come watch defense. I just come watch the pass rush, Jason Lloyd.
There's a fly in the ointment in your theory.
Okay.
They're not trading him.
Yeah,
that's a different conversation. Right. That's a different conversation altogether.
You can dream whatever you
We live in
want.
Fairyland Forest all the time.
Like,
We do things all the time.
Can we see the odds again of his next team? Because his next team wasn't on the list. His
the
next
Cowboys.
team is his current team. It's the Cowboys.
I'm not going to put the odds up because it started at plus 500. I'm guessing the Cowboys would be minus 1,000 for his next team.
They're not.
Why would you trade a generational talent for that?
Which is why, real quick.
Same reason the Browns didn't trade Myles Garrett.
Jay, which is why in the rundown I put, we'll use Micah, but I want to ask the big picture question. Is it worth giving up major assets for any player?
But it's
well, you don't have the quarterback.
And that's fine. We can bring it back to that. But it's just worth pointing out. I'm not defending it. I don't know why he operates this way. Jerry Jones has a long history of infuriating his best players.
And then signing them when they're done.
It doesn't make any sense why he goes about it. It goes all the way back to Emmitt Smith.
It's ego, Jay.
He did it with Emmitt.
It's his ego.
You're probably right. It's Dez.
I'm the most important person here,
It
not
was
you.
Dak Prescott. It's all of them.
Yeah.
He does it with all of them. I don't understand why you want to antagonize your best players, but this happens time and time and time. Did they ever trade Emmitt? No. They signed him. He held out and they signed him.
They didn't trade none of them dudes.
They all signed. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah,
but
that's a fact.
But to the question, this team desperately needs a quarterback, and that's what the extra first-round pick is for. So, no, you need until you find the quarterback, you could put Lawrence Taylor with Bruce Smith, with Reggie White. You ain't winning in the NFL at a high level without the quarterback.
That's why I say you're absolutely putting the cart before the horse.
You got to have a quarterback.
You've got to figure out the quarterback piece. You have to. This is a move that this is a bad example because the Eagles are Super Bowl champs. But but look at the moves the Eagles made when they weren't Super Bowl champs. They kept making these huge splash moves, and we're like, oh my God, they're going all in to do this, and now they got it. So, but they had all the other pieces, and when they got Barkley, they're like, yeah. Now we've got a ring. Yeah, now we can bring them in.
If the Browns had, and I know we just got done saying, what if one of these rookies work out? Okay, fine. The reality is, I've said this before, they are approaching this as their quarterback is coming next year. Yeah. We can talk about this till we're out of wind. They are looking at the next quarterback class as where their next quarterback is coming from.
Unless Brock Purdy happens, it is going to.
If they had a quarterback in place that they felt really good about, okay, we can entertain the Micah conversation in a fantasy world because Dallas still ain't trading him.
Right.
But then we can have that. But
on a rookie quarterback salary, that's when you can make a move.
Sure,
absolutely.
Exactly.
But Jimmy just got done saying, part of the reason the roster is depleted is because they didn't have a first-round pick for 3 years. And now here we are running out and having another conversation about giving up more first-round picks for a position that isn't the number one most important position on the field.
Consider this. I don't know. I didn't do the numbers. I'm just guessing. I'm betting that there are 28 teams in the NFL who will pay their starting quarterback more than we're going to play all four.
Oh, for sure.
So,
because
to your point that the guy's not here, the guy's not here. Unless Brock Purdy happens, the guy isn't here. So why are you going to bring in the Maserati engine when you still have
you got nobody to drive it?
You got the Volkswagen frame.
Nobody can drive a stick shift. You just bought a sports car. Nobody knows how to drive a stick.
I always say this. This is the thing, though. This is what makes people they go crazy because we're saying we're going to play the odds, and we're saying the odds are that the quarterback is not on the roster. But we haven't played no games.
No, I know. But again, we are playing odds here.
That's the odds game, right?
The analytics of this situation tell us, they're screaming at us. He's not here, guys.
But our analytics,
he's not currently here.
But our analytics be getting us in trouble and a lot.
They do.
Hey,
and look, when San Francisco drafted Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant, in their wildest dreams, they didn't think they had their future starting quarterback.
Correct.
They just didn't think that.
But think about this. This is why I give him credit. This is why when people say, what is a genius, right? I'm like, okay, Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. If anybody takes the Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl, good luck ever getting rid of him.
Two seasons of terrible play would do it.
Nobody.
You're always going to remember that guy was in there.
Nobody was like, so they got Jimmy Garoppolo. They went to the Super Bowl with him.
Jared Goff and the Rams, same thing.
Yeah.
And they Then they said, all right, well, look, we're going to trade all these picks for Trey Lance. They said after seeing Trey Lance for a couple of years and being hurt and played like 6 games, they said, oh, nope, this ain't it, bye. I said, this is crazy.
Well, they also were able to say that because they were like, wow, that is
but
it.
It was actually a couple of weeks.
It was
because I've said that Kyle Shanahan, it goes back to what Joe Thomas said on our show, right away. Kyle Shanahan told the owner the best quarterback is the kid we took last.
Can you
to the owner's credit, the owner said, then put him in.
So think about that. And they took Mr. Irrelevant and he went to the Super Bowl. If any, like this is the most improbable thing in the world. So the San Francisco 49ers, the reason you're good is because guess what? You're willing to be like, hey, I saw something in the 7th round kid and I can make it work. And we'll jettison that. That's the type of eye you need. That's the type of thought process to say, we are in it to win it at all times. I'll give the Washington Commanders credit. They drafted RG3 and they traded a boatload of picks to do him. Yeah. And in that same draft, they took Kirk Cousins. The same exact draft. Mm-hmm. I'll give them credit. That's genius to me. Like, so for me, I need you to do everything you can to exhaust to see if these guys can play. And guess what? If you do that and they aren't, who cares?
Move on.
Yeah,
move on.
I need to see though. That's the only thing I'm saying.
The difference. There's one major difference to your analogy. The Niners are a blue chip organization. They get it right. They had, and think about this, they had Colin Kaepernick take them to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Within a few years, they had Jimmy Garoppolo take them to a Super Bowl. And then within a few years, they get
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy plays his tail off, and they were ended up like on a 5th string quarterback in the playoffs after an injury. Like, they have the pieces in place. They have the system. They have the coaches. They have the general manager. John Lynch has done an incredible job of keeping the talent flow going. Here in Cleveland, just a few short years ago, we were some people's pick to win the AFC.
Yep.
It wasn't that long ago.
Yep. Life comes at you fast.
Life comes at you fast. What happened?
You know what's funny when you talk about San Francisco? A lot of people talk about the Eagles, right, as a comp to the
Yeah,
Browns.
they're another one.
The Browns are trying to be the Eagles with the way they restructure contracts and all that stuff. I actually think it's the 49ers. This is who they're trying to replicate.
Yep.
Kevin's trying to run Kyle's offense.
Yep.
They're trying to clearly they have not had the success that the 49ers have had. But it's just funny to me for all of the comps to the Eagles that people make. I actually think it's the 49ers.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong with that.
I listen.
You better have a John Lynch type GM.
Yeah.
And look, John will tell you, I didn't think Jimmy was going to be, or Brock was going to be this.
No, nobody did.
But here's what they did see. They saw something in there that said, you know what, this might translate.
And they rolled
take
with
the
it.
flyer. And then when they saw on the field in training camp.
I mean, Trey got hurt. It's not like they benched him.
But you know what? It's luck and preparation and opportunity.
Yeah.
But when you got that much assets wrapped up in a guy, it is very difficult for your organization, your front office, or the owner to move off of that.
It is.
Especially if they he got hurt.
We're still clinging to Deshaun Watson.
We ain't got rid of him. Like Albert Breer said, who's the most talented guy on the roster?
Yeah, well, there's a saying,
Deshaun?
They always say the captain goes down with the ship. Well, he doesn't have to.
Right.
Once everybody else is off, he can get the hell off too.
Kyle Shanahan.
This ship is going down, and Deshaun Watson's still on it.
Kyle was like,
violin.
Yeah, I'm going to trade this.
Rearranging the deck chairs.
I'm going to trade this dude for a pick, and we're going to come. And the fact that it worked shows you. Now, I'm not going to say that's the same situation. Brock Purdy's a different situation, but hey, look, Jalen Hurts. People weren't jumping up and down for Jalen Hurts. We're like, he's a running back. He's an H-back.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't think that he would have success in the NFL.
Look, sometimes you got to roll the dice. When you roll the dice.
And that's the genius part of it that you mentioned. Anybody can take a blueprint and try to replicate it. The genius in this whole thing is because it's a living, breathing organism that changes constantly. The genius that you speak of is trying to stay on the front edge of that curve.
Yeah,
don't do what's going on the last 5 years. Figure out what's next and go make that work.
You innovative. You not being retrospective. You like, listen, man. We thinking about this year. This is why I'll say this. That's why the Browns might be bad. But one thing I am encouraged by is the fact that training camp is completely different.
Yes,
it is
sir.
completely different.
Last year it was a country club.
Live tackling periods in training camp.
Yep.
Like
I know it's good.
Look, that says something. Like I'll say it. Kevin Stefanski had to change some different things, but he changed the stuff that was in his control, and that is this is how hard we're gonna practice.
All right.
We're still waiting on Herm Edwards. As soon as he hops in, we'll get Herm on. But I want to talk a little Travis Bazzana because we didn't have time earlier. And as soon as Herm joins us, we'll get Coach on. We're going to talk some Bazzana after a quick word from Game Time. We've all been there logging on early, waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show that you've been dying to see. Live music shouldn't be about making memories. It should be about making memories, not about the stress of dealing with ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. The prices drop. The closer it gets to showtime, you can actually save 60% with killer last-minute deals. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. We'll get to Herm once he joins us, Jay. But first, since Travis Bazzana has returned from the injured list, have you seen his stats?
Yeah.
Sitting 341, has a homer, 8 ribbies, a 943 OPS. And he is looking every bit the part of the prospect the Guardians thought they were getting when they took him #1 overall. Now, granted, it's AA Akron.
It's a
not
small
the
sample
majors,
size, too.
And it's a small sample size, but he was struggling prior to the injury. Jay, how promising is it to see the Guardians' top prospect performing like this since returning from the IL?
Well, I'll tell you more than anything, it's psychological. Because the talk about Travis Bazzana has always been he doesn't play a premium position, yet he was the #1 overall pick in the draft. So that puts added pressure on him to be a major league contributor in a relatively short period of time. What also hasn't helped Travis Bazzana's case is the 3 guys drafted after him are already at the big league level making an impact. Like Caglione has been, he hasn't been what everybody thought he was going to be. But here's the thing. You got to cut teeth before you can cut meat with those teeth. He's cutting his teeth right now. The arc that Travis Bazzana was on 6 weeks ago was tragic.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have an overwhelmingly great rookie season. He struggled. And then he got hurt. So now we're saying, oh my God, what did we do? We had the number. It's the first time, I think, in team history that they ever had the #1 overall draft pick. And we took a non-premium position player at second base, and his numbers were mid. But if nothing else, it helps stop the narrative that the guards may have really screwed this up because he's not at a premium position, and guys that were drafted after him, particularly one, is having a huge impact. So I just think it gets the narrative going in the right direction. And I would absolutely elevate him to Columbus immediately. I've seen enough of him in Double A.
That was the other question. It's time. I mean,
get him up to Columbus.
What else can he prove in Double A?
You know why?
Let's see in Triple A.
Get him up to Columbus, and he's got a month to play before the IL season goes to their playoffs. I think they start their playoffs in September. So if you can call him up to Columbus, and he hits the ball well at Columbus, now he is an option for you if you need a guy. Or you want to get him a little bit of major league experience in the month of September if he does well in the month at Columbus.
Can you tell me? So he's a second baseman. Because somebody asked me this, I said, I'm gonna ask the baseball guys when I get back in. They said, "Well, what does he do?" Like, I said, "What do you mean? What does he do?" They're like, "Is he a power hitter?" And I said, "No, not necessarily." They're like, "Is he like a Gold Glove second baseman?" I said, "Not necessarily." They're like, "Is he like fast or is he still a bunch of?" I'm like, not really. Is he a guy that's going to hit 320?
He could be. So I think of all the tools, Jay, that's the one thing that they think he could be a high average guy.
What is when they drafted him 1 overall, usually #1 picks have one thing you'd be like, that's why I'm drafting you. For those that don't know, or those that may only know that he was the #1 pick, what is it the Guardians saw and made him #1?
I think he's got power. I don't know he's going to hit 40 home runs, but I think he's got unusual power for a second baseman.
Is Carlos Baerga as a comp unrealistic? Because that's who I come up with. I keep saying if he ends up being Carlos Baerga, I think that's a great pick.
I mean, it's such a different game. Carlos was in his prime, was good for 200 hits, 20 home runs, 85, 90 RBIs.
That would be it.
Yeah, I mean,
if we got that out of him,
I think he might have had a couple hundred RBI seasons. I don't remember now.
Well, in that lineup, I mean, everybody was on base a lot.
Is he Chuck Knobloch? Is he Roberto Alomar?
He's got more pop than Knobloch. Knobloch was a speed guy.
And he was a high average guy, too.
Yeah, I mean, nobody hits for high average. It's so weird in baseball. I mean, if he hits for 280, you'd be ecstatic with that.
That's the new 300.
It's Stephen Kwan, if he can hit 285, 290, you know.
Viagra had 200 ribby seasons, by the way.
So he does have power for a second baseman. Keith Law, who does prospects for us, is not high on. He's never like Bazzana. Doesn't like his hips, doesn't like his swing, thinks his swing is too
steep.
Yeah. So, we'll see. I wonder – I'm always curious how much the Jimenez contract played into that pick, because knowing that they could get off Jimmy's future money if they took him and could plug him in at second base and have something productive there.
Because that's kind of odd. Like, it's almost like I can't compare it. Like, if I'm looking at, like, baseball, he's a second baseman. Like, if you took – I'm just think about it. It's like taking like a linebacker, number 1 overall, or like you took a linebacker.
It's a non-premium position.
Part of the issue with it wasn't a draft with a clear-cut guy. Mm-hmm. There was like 6 or 7 guys who you look at and think could be pretty good.
And finances played into this too.
Oh, they always
signability.
Do.
I mean,
But if there's at the time, Spencer Torkelson was a clear number 1 pick. He was going number 1.
Yeah.
So that was an easy call. Steven Strasburg was an easy call as the number 1 pick. There wasn't that guy in this draft, so they had like 6 or 7 guys that had some flaws that you had to pick from.
Boy, if we could only go back and do it over again, know what we know now.
Nick Kurtz.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's unbelievable. That guy's with the season he's putting together.
That's a discussion for another day, because we have our guest ready to join us. We're going to bring in Herm Edwards in 1 second, but first, the reminder that the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is brought to you by FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing. Whether you're all about baseball, golf, soccer, you name it, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling with FanDuel? If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet $5, and if that first $5 bet wins, they can get $150 in bonus bets. Open up the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in Herm Edwards to the show, former player, former coach, current ESPN analyst. How you doing today, Coach?
I am well. You got a good crew there. A lot of knowledge sitting around that table with them dadgum microphones.
Man, when Herm Edwards says that, that's a compliment, boys. Let's clip that for the promotional reel, kids. Herm, you look great, man. How are you? And thanks for joining us. How's life?
Life is good, my friend. Long time no see.
I know, too long.
Cherish the times that we worked together. I can't thank you enough for helping me along when I first got into this business. So it's people like yourself that were kind enough to give me some advice at times when I needed it, and I really appreciate it. But life is good. I don't know if you know this, but I've got 2 daughters. One of them last year went to Texas. She's at Texas.
Wow.
And I got another one that's going to be a freshman going to Texas. So now I'm doing this a lot for some reason.
Yes,
of all places, Texas. Yeah.
Well,
but,
it's great to see you again. It really is, and great to see you doing well. I always love to watch you. You're still one of the guys that I have to tune in when you're on the screen. I have to pay attention. Herm, obviously, we're talking Browns. We're talking quarterback. You know the situation. You've got a guy you're somewhat familiar with in Joe Flacco. You've got the kids, Dillon Gabriel, and, of course, Shedeur Sanders. And then you've got, a guy that's kind of a wild card in this whole thing in Kenny Pickett. Not sure we really know what he is. How do you sort of get your mind around what they're doing here in Cleveland with this quarterback position? And whose race is it to win?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when this all took place, you kind of looked at it and went, well, wait a minute, what are we doing here? I hope one of these guys, one of the younger ones, is the future for the Cleveland Browns because, I'm an old head and look, the Cleveland Browns need to be relevant. They just do. It's good for football when the Cleveland. They had the greatest player to ever play the game of football. And I say that, anybody ask me, it's Jim Brown.
Amen.
And I'm going to say that until I leave this earth. It is Jim Brown. There ain't no doubt. And I just think the struggles these guys have gone through, and it has a lot to do with the quarterback. Okay, now, Gabriel reminds me, and maybe it reminds him of a guy I played against when Cleveland was rolling, was Brian Sight. Plays from the pocket. He's left-handed. Sight was a right-handed guy, San Diego State. The dimensions are about the same. Look at the dimensions, about the same height, same arm talent, just very accurate, ran the offense. Okay, Deion's son, I've known him since he was a little guy. He gives you more of the ability to create some plays. Joe Flacco is, he's just Mr. Consistent. But Joe Flacco's not the answer. It might be the answer for this year. But, guys, here's the question, if you're Cleveland. It really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Before the season starts, they're in fourth place.
Yeah.
They're not a playoff team. You have 3 teams that are playoff teams. If Cincinnati can get off to a better start, we say that every year, and they get off to a bad start again.
You're right.
They're a playoff team. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin's been going to the playoffs for the last 10 years without a quarterback. They win 10 games. Now they got a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and the only reason to get Aaron Rodgers is because he's got to play for them in the playoffs. They want him to play good in the playoffs. And then you got the Baltimore Ravens that can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs that are always in the playoffs. So if you're a Cleveland fan, right? So if you're a Cleveland fan, but nobody can beat the Chiefs. Buffalo Bills can't either. And if you're a Cleveland fan, you sit there and you go, well, what are we doing? Do we have the quarterback of the future? I don't know that.
Coach, as a coach being in those rooms and trying to decide, do we got a guy who's going to be the quarterback? What are we doing here? What is your deciding factor? Some people say don't throw the rookies out there too quick. Some people say the veterans give you a better chance. From your experience in dealing with all types of quarterbacks, and you got to roll the dice and figure out who's going to start week 1, what is the deciding factors between starting a veteran guy and a rookie guy?
Well, like I said, guys, they're not going to be in first place in this division. So with that being said,
go learn something.
Why wouldn't you play a rookie guy?
Yeah.
Find out what you got. You need to find out who that guy is this year. Because if he ain't the guy, guess what? You're going to be picking high again next year. And there's some quarterbacks coming out. There's one in Texas who's really good. Last name is Manning. He's really good. I know this. I played against the grandpa. I've seen the Manning history. He's really good. The kid in Texas, he's like really good. I've gone to spring practice. I see him. I'm down there all the time. My daughters go to school in Texas. So, so if you're Cleveland, it's a quandary to me, and they've got some talented guys on their football team. But guys, if you don't have a trigger guy that can at least score some points, it brings everybody down. They have the makings of maybe having a good defense, but when you can't score points, it just wears the defense out. Their star player, I feel bad for him. I do. Yeah. Now, he's making a lot of money. No, he's making a lot of money, but you know what? That's all good. When you look at your career, you want to say, how many times did we go in the playoffs? That money don't buy you playoff games, by the way. You got to win games.
Herm, I'm with you on everything you said. I've been saying it, screaming it since the end of last season. You got to find the quarterback. The quarterback's probably in next year's draft, more than likely. That's why they traded down. They got the extra pick. But how do you get through this year as a head coach? If you're Kevin and you've got these veterans looking at you and you've got Joe Flacco there, Flacco is probably the best quarterback right now on the roster, but I don't see the upside. Why would you play a 40-year-old quarterback? So what do you tell the veterans in the locker room who are trying to win right now?
Now, you make a great point, and that's the hard part. Some veterans' careers will end this year. It'll be their last year, and they want to win. When you haven't won in quite some time, you haven't been in the playoffs quite some time, these veterans want to win. And this is why when you have the competition, and you got to tell them this, And you got to, and I would tell Joe this, and I told veterans this, not just quarterbacks, but veteran players. This was my mindset because I always look back as when I was a player, right? When I came in the league as a rookie. And I can remember what Dick Vermeil told me. And he told the rookies when we were sitting there, first day of camp. And back then it was real football. There was 6 preseason games. It was almost 2 months of training camp.
No.
It was
6 a year.
No. 6. Guys, 6.
Yeah.
6. Okay, and so
2-a-days.
You look at this stuff, and you go, okay, and so then I remember Dick Vermeil saying this. He said, guys, let me tell you something. If you're a veteran player, you get grace because you're the veteran. But let me tell you something. If a rookie is close and it's close to making a decision who's playing, I'm playing a rookie.
Wow.
Don't make it close. And I heard that and I went, whoa, that's interesting. Guess what? I started as a rookie. I was the only guy to start in the National Football League playing corner in a rookie National Football League. My first year. Started, never missed a game. Never missed a practice, never missed a snap. Right? But what he said was, veterans, if the rookie makes it close, I'm playing the rookie because he's going to get better. The only thing he don't have is experience. How do they get experience? They got to play.
That's a great
So what
story.
I'm telling you is this. When I became a coach, I told those guys, here's the Dick Vermeil story. Guys, if it's close, I'm playing the rookie. Don't make it close.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be close. And I don't care what position you play. If it's close, guys, I'm playing the rookie. Because he's going to be better than you in week 5.
Yeah, if it's close and he doesn't have the experience, what's going to happen when he gets the experience? Makes
Correct.
perfect sense.
See, you can't be afraid to play young players. You just can't. Because let me tell you something. Here's the thing about football. And every player knows it. The players that go to practice every day, they know who the good players are. They know. You can't hide it. They know. they look. Your eyes don't lie. You know what I tell coaches? You know the problem with football? We put jersey numbers on players, and when we go to practice, we know certain numbers, and we go, oh, yeah. I said this before. Don't put a jersey on numbers. Don't put a jersey on the players when they go to practice. Just let them practice and pick out the best 11.
Wow. They'll
Don't
stand
fall
out.
in love with the jersey number. Don't fall in love with the jersey number because what he did it before. He got to do it now. This is a now league. It ain't what he did before. But see, that's what we do. We fall into the trap.
Yeah, it's the easy way out, Herm. You know what you have with that player, and you're going to, and the assumption is you're going to continue to get that same production. But then you're discounting the fact that the rookies they have more room to grow.
They gonna make mistakes. Hey, Dick threw me out there. I walked in that huddle, man, with Bill Berg and all them veteran guys, and I walked in there that first preseason game, and they looked at me and they say, "Rook, are you ready?" I was scared to death. I said, "Yeah." You know what I was scared of? I didn't want to let those guys down. I said, I was afraid to let those guys down. I said, I ain't letting these dudes down, man. You know, and so I was fortunate enough. For me, when I became a coach, especially a head coach, I always viewed things through the player's eyes. If I asked him to do this, and I was a player, what would I say? And sometimes I tell myself, you would say, man, coach, you crazy. Then I say, well, don't ask him that. Right? it ain't that hard. Players play, coaches coach. That's what we do. The players have to play. And you can coach them all you want, but at the end of the day, they play on the grass. You get to make the decisions. You're the information provider. And then you don't give players talent. God gives them talent. You give them information.
Yeah. It's up to them what they do with it. Hey, we don't have a lot of time left. We're off at 1. I want to ask this because I think this is one of the ongoing problems in Cleveland is culture. I was in Tampa when you were in Tampa, And you guys pulled off something that's really, really difficult to do, and that's changed the culture. Before you can win, you've told me this many times, you're not winning if the culture isn't right. And if the culture isn't right, it's going to be a long season. How did you guys pull that off in Tampa? Because in a relatively short period of time, and I know you had a lot of great draft picks, but the culture in the locker room changed. How does Cleveland pull that off here?
You got to look at the personalities and go, okay. And Tony called. We had a veterans meeting. I can remember that. We called, and Lynch was in that meeting. I was visiting with John and the family Friday night. We went to a concert in San Francisco, and we bring all these veterans in. There's about 15 of them that had been there, that had been through all that losing. And Tony was talking to them, and Tony said, "Hey, look, like we got it, and you just did it. We got to change the culture. We're going to do things different. You guys have had a lot of coaches. We get all that, and I was the bad cop, if you remember that. I was the assistant head coach. I was the bad cop, right? I was the bad cop. I was the bad cop, and so we're sitting in there, and Tony's giving him this. He talks to him about 20 minutes, and he said, "I'm gonna let Coach Herm talk to you." So then I get up, and I'm just quite honest. I said, "Hey, let me tell y'all something. Some of you guys, you ain't gonna be here. I got a list. I got a list. And I'm looking here. I'm looking at the list, and some of you guys have been here 3 or 4 years. Nothing has changed. The only thing that changes for you guys is another coach. Well, we ain't changing no more coaches. We're gonna change some players." And so I leave a room, and Lynch tells me the story later. He said him and Rodney Barber are sitting there with Brooks, and they go, "Herm's the bad cop." He's the bad cop.
Leave it to John to figure that out, too.
Hey, listen to him said, "Herm's the bad cop, man." And he said, "They're about to run some boys up out of here." And you remember that? I remember guys, we got rid of them. We said, "Hey, man, they're good players, but the culture's bad. We got to get rid of them." Now, Sapp, as crazy as Sapp was, Sapp bought in. He's just hard to handle, but I love Warren Sapp. We all loved him. And you know how Warren was. He's always griping. I had to hug Warren by the neck and say, "Warren, come here. Come here, let me talk to you, man." He said, "Coach, all I want to do is win." I said, "Okay, you're going to win." I said, "Look, you're going to play the 3 technique now. Whole different defense. You're going to play the 3 technique. All we want you to do is beat the guard and go hit the quarterback." And he looked at me and said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, that's all you got to do." and so, you start telling them how good they're going to be, and you're going to change this defense. And I tell you what now, and after a while, that might have been one of the best defenses in captivity. They were really good.
Herm, without question, it's one of the best that's ever played it. And thank goodness that it led to a Super Bowl. It was a crazy time. That's what we're trying to replicate here. We need a new wave of a new way to look at the game, get the culture changed. And I thought they had it a couple years ago, and then it devolved, and now they've got to do it again, which it's hard enough to do it once. Now they got to find a way to do it again. Herm, it's great seeing you. It's great catching up with you. Tell John, and when you see him again, give him my best. He was all-time great champion. And all the good guys at ESPN, you know who they are. Tell him I miss him and love him.
I tell him, brother, I'm headed back Thursday, but I'm going back to the worldwide leader. Here we go.
It's on, baby. It's on. Tell your family, we'll see you in January.
Appreciate you.
All right, my friend. Thanks, you guys. Coach. God bless you.
Herm Edwards.
Thank you.
One of the best in the business.
Awesome.
Great shot.
He's awesome.
Top-notch human being, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I was playing sports again. He just coach. He'd be like, "Man, I'm about to go lift some weights."
You know what he's great at? He brings the energy in life, too.
Yeah.
Like our green room discussions before the show, it was really like a fireside chat with Herm. Yeah. And he just fires you up. He makes you feel good to be alive, you know? Yeah. He really does.
It's a special talent. Jason's got a dip because he's got to get over to Berea to listen to Kevin Stefanski. We got a bunch of super chats.
Did any other news come out of the Sanders stuff or no?
Nothing
big?
Particular.
Okay.
No, we got a bunch of super chats, so we're going to do those. It's going to go a little long, so we'll do no overtime today. We're going to read them, but Jason, you dip so we can do these. First one comes from Miss Bell 70, who said, "First, OTAs didn't count. Now training camp doesn't count, and Shedeur still has no reps with the ones. Y'all got to stop moving the goalpost if you want Gabriel."
That is completely backwards from what we said.
I just said
I wasn't counting the stats at OTAs of 7-on-7,
Yeah.
but this absolutely counts.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
This is the type of
People
stuff
hear what they want to hear,
that's
Jay.
the stuff that makes my head explode.
I know.
I just said that.
I know. That was your main point on the whole first 25 minutes of the show.
That's it.
Jay suffers no fools, and that was a fool. Like, we're not moving any goalposts.
All right, next one. Squizerm.
Angry Jay is
says-
my favorite Jay, by the way.
He either loves
Angry Jay is my
Yeah.
favorite Jay.
My earpiece.
whole earpiece.
All right, next super chat's from Squizerm, who says Gabriel is being given the opportunity to show he can't do it. The preseason game will be the final test for Gabriel, and it ain't looking good.
Wow, that's a defeatist approach.
Yeah.
And I've never in the history of my lifetime around the NFL, I've never ever heard a team or even heard a theory where they said, well, we know this guy sucks, so let's make him the one, and then we get him out of the competition. No, that's not how it works.
I always tell people, man,
People.
sometimes you can play your way in a position, sometimes you can play your way out of a position.
Yeah, happens all the time.
So we're going to see what's going to happen.
Slammin' Sammy Joe says trade Gabriel for Zach Wilson, sneaks, fakes, and field goal plays.
Oh, my God.
That's crazy.
The collective IQ of our audience today is 9.
Zach Wilson, like you mean? Oh, you talk about? I thought he was talking about the coach of the Bengals. I forgot Zach Wilson was a quarterback.
No, he's talking about the quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm cool.
All right, you're going to see the screen come up. It's not the end of the show. Don't worry. William Slater says, question, if Gabriel looks bad in the first preseason game and Sanders looks good, do you think Kevin will start giving Sanders some 1 reps?
That's a distinct possibility.
Is it very possible?
Because was I supposed to stop talking?
And we keep
No, you keep talking.
Okay.
This is just to end our stream.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there is a very distinct possibility that they talk about evaluating from week to week. And when Stefanski said it earlier, like obviously when you do something in a game, that holds more weight than what you do in a practice,
and
right?
the joint practice holds more than it does in a regular practice.
So yeah, of course.
I would tell you that, and I'm not sure that this number is going to be accurate. I would say that in terms of what the coaches have been able to see to make their decision on, I would say, and I mentioned this earlier, they probably are 35 to 40% to their decision.
Yeah.
I think the remaining 60% is going to be split between the joint practices and what they do in the preseason games. That's going to be the bulk of it because it should be the bulk of it. It's the most meaningful snaps. So how do you erase a 3 for 14 with a pick and no touchdowns? You go 11 for 14 with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Which one will carry more weight? That's easy.
It is very easy.
The one that was against another football team.
And plus too, I always tell people, man, I have stopped being anxious about anything. The reality of the situation is Saturday's coming. That's the great thing about football. Friday. You don't have to have no first team reps today. You know why? Because when you play against another team, all of them first team reps that you could have been getting, if you don't play well against the Panthers or the Eagles or the Rams and you got film, it don't matter how many first team reps you was getting. Coach Herm said it right.
Yep.
It ain't what you was doing, it's what you doing now.
And the other thing is, too, if there is a change in the depth chart now, psychologically, it's a huge boost to the 3 guys that were not number 1. And at the same time, it is a huge shot to the guy that was number 1. Because here's what they're telling you without telling you. We've lost confidence in you. You're no longer the number 1. And here's what you're telling the other 3 guys. You know what? The guy we thought was number 1 is not. You got a chance.
Yeah.
That's all you want is a chance.
Next super chat comes from Evan419, who says, Browns fans want a franchise quarterback and to win. Shedeur fans want to be right.
Yeah, well, that's what we said earlier. Shedeur fans don't have any stake. They don't have any stake in the Browns.
They don't have no.
They just want their guy to win the job, and so then they can be right.
D. Grat sent the next super chat, who says, "I'm a diehard Browns fan, rooting for Shedeur to start. That said, I can't deal with the Shedeurians. They're by far worse than the Baker Bros."
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that. Here's the thing. If you're a Browns fan, you want Shedeur Sanders to be great.
Yeah.
I do not understand this camp that is out there that is hoping that he's not any good. What does that? How does that move the ball forward for the Cleveland Browns? It doesn't.
People say, "How are you so comfortable, G. Bush? You listen. You understand what the Shedeur fans are saying, but you are a diehard Cleveland Browns fan. How do you stay so like you're unbothered and medium?" I said, "Because it's people." Both camps want the same thing, but say it in different ways. Because if Shedeur Sanders, I don't care. Look, here's the thing. I think he's a good ball player. I think he can play. That period, point blank, stop right there. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, and I love the Cleveland Browns, the best thing that for me to say is the Cleveland Browns, if he's good, I give you all the perks of why it works if he's good. I don't have a problem with people who come into the camp and say, we're supporting this guy head over heels. That's what they're going to do. My thing is, I think he's good, and also I think he can benefit the Cleveland Browns. So
so there's a convergence of those two circles.
Two circles.
But you're probably, G. Bush, I don't want to say you're in the minority because I don't think you are, because I do think most Browns fans, they want all four quarterbacks to do well. That means we're going to have a great season. But as the circles overlap, so the Shedeurians that have the Browns' best interest in mind are very, very few.
Yeah.
Most of them are rooting for Shedeur because he's Shedeur.
Yeah.
You're rooting for Shedeur because you happen to think he can play and you're a Browns fan.
Right.
And there's a lot of you that are Browns fans that are rooting for Shedeur. That's fine. Pick your guy. I think everybody has a guy they would like to see win the job.
But here's the thing,
but
though.
I want the best guy to win the job.
But here's the thing, too, and I'm not crazy and I'm not biased enough to say, if Dillon Gabriel came out there and was great,
it's still a win for you.
I still win.
Right. What I don't want to hear about are the people that are in the convergence of the two circles, you and others who now, because their guy didn't win the starting job, now they're rooting against the Browns.
No,
that's what divides the fan base.
Because here's the thing, like Herm Edwards said it, and he said it in a way that we could all understand it, man. He coached these people, and the players in the locker room know who can play. You are bound by a code of, like, I love everybody, but I'm not going to be going out. People will call me that play football with me, that play sports. They say, G. Bush, man, you out of pocket. Because what's evident on the field, I got to say. So if listen, I don't think Kenny Pickett's that great. But if Kenny Pickett come out here and throw for 4,000 yards, I look crazy being like, you know what?
At some point you got to let go of the rope.
At some point, bro, what are you talking about? I'm not.
There were a lot of people that thought Sam Darnold stunk until they saw what he did last year.
And they were proven wrong. And same with Baker Mayfield. Even though Baker did have some success here, there was a large contingency of the fan base that said Baker sucks. He's got to go. He's never going to be that guy.
All right, next Super Chat's about Baker. 3Sip12 said, Baker got angled, run down by a police officer in his vest.
He did. It's not a lie.
Aggie Fury 101.
Some of those cops can run,
bro.
Aggie Fury 101 says, bottom line speaks loudest. We just want to win. If Shedeur turns into Lamar Jackson home run, every Browns fan will cheer for him. Let's not make this weird.
Yep.
Facts.
Kirk Davis says, my question, who is in the 2026 draft? If there is any franchise-changing level quarterbacks, why not just go after a receiver or get Micah?
Well, we don't even know. See, that's all.
It's too early.
Yeah, way too early.
That's because, I mean, last year you would have said, last year at this time, Quinn Ewers would have been the number one pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot can change.
How did that work out?
Seventh round.
And so, like, I know Herm loves Manning, and that's
He's not coming out next year.
Well, here's the thing, guys. It's a different world now. He is in the driver's seat. Where when Eli came out, Eli didn't have any options. Eli was coming out, and that's it.
Well, Eli did have options because he forced his way to
No, I'm sorry. I meant Peyton.
Peyton, yes.
I meant Peyton.
Yes.
So, Eli was told, his dad says, don't draft him. Told the Chargers, don't draft him. So, okay, they didn't draft him. Well, the option that Eli
didn't have, he was
didn't have. See, money has to come into this, guys. Now, if you're Manning and let's say the Browns finish 1-16 and they've got the number 1 pick, and you want nothing to do with that, nothing to do with the Browns, because let's face it, they haven't gotten it right. They've gotten it wrong a lot more. Now you can say, well, I'm just going to come back to Texas. I'm going to make another $10 million a year. All good.
He has not 1 but 2 years of eligibility.
Yes.
And he's going to make the most NIL money. And on top of that, they know the timeline. You can say your quarterback is in next year's draft, and people, even like myself, might throw up a little bit in their mouth and be upset. But you ain't got no time. Even the most staunchest of Browns fans are going to give you hell if you talk about our quarterbacks in 2028.
Yeah.
Oh, no. We're
running out of time.
You're running out of time. So if he does not want to play for a specific team, he has multiple out cards and ways where
and they all do from now on. And so whenever the Browns are sitting in the catbird seat and they get the number 1 pick again, there is a real possibility, unless that player is a senior and out of eligibility, and that's rare.
Very rare.
If he's got an option to go back into college football, which one would be more fun? If all things were equal and you were going to make the same money, would you rather be big man on campus and play college football, or would you rather go to the real world, get your head knocked in by the greatest on the planet, and play NFL football? That's easy for me.
7-8 million.
Give me college football.
You
every time.
Everything paid for. They already paying for everything. Plus you get the $8 million.
Plus you get the money.
Oh, that's crazy.
Last super chat. Dan Blakely paid $50 for this.
Wow.
Stop telling lies, Mikey. Shedeur went 7 for 10 with 1 touchdown, no picks on Friday. Gabriel's the only person who threw a pick. This whole camp, Shedeur is 49 of 76 touchdowns, no picks. He hasn't thrown a pick since OTAs when the ball was tipped in the air. Do your homework, and get your facts straight.
Wow, he paid $50 to say that.
I want to show you guys a tweet from Zach Jackson from Friday.
Yeah, he did throw a pick, didn't he?
Cam Mitchell, the presumed leader in the slot cornerback job in the wake of Emerson's injury, just picked off Shedeur Sanders in a one-on-one pass drill. This is the issue with the ESPN tracker.
It does not count.
It only shows you certain stats. He throws more than 10 passes in practice.
That's one of the issues with the ESPN tracker.
I was there on Friday. I saw the interception with my own 2 eyes. I forgot who picked it off.
So that guy just wasted $50 trying to.
$50 call me a liar when he's wrong.
No, here's the thing. Now we are educated. See, now we understand the tracker only counts team activities and 7-on-7. It does not count one-on-one drills. I said that he hadn't thrown any interception, but that's talking about team and things like that. But look, I always said this. If you throw a pick or whatever the case may be, and you may throw a pick and you may do a lot of different things, there's going to be times where Shedeur is going to throw picks. It's just part of the game.
He'll throw picks.
He's going to throw some interceptions. He's going to throw some different things. My thing is this. I think the most interesting part of this is people want to get the opportunity. I think that most people is up in arms and antsy because they're like, he still the fixation on the first round pick, the first round reps is really getting to people. But at the end of the day, I keep trying to tell people, be anxious for nothing, because even if you go undefeated in practice, I guarantee you the Cleveland Browns are looking at it like this. What you do on these games and these practices is not the same thing.
No.
These inter-squad scrimmages count. The practices count. And guess what? National TV will see them. If you think that Shedeur Sanders won't get first-team reps if he comes out there and kills it, you're mistaken. I'm telling you how it is. Joe Thomas said it best.
You mean the theory that they drafted him to set him up to fail is not true?
No.
Okay.
I think when you say set up to fail or putting him through, a lot of people feel that Dillon Gabriel has not performed better than Shedeur Sanders, but he still gets first team reps. But guess what?
Not for long.
My cousin called me. He played with Tom Coughlin at BC. He said, we went to training camp. He was undrafted free agent. He was a receiver. He said, the way it works is when you draft it ahead of somebody, they get the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
Every time.
So what you're seeing right now,
but it can be undone.
It can. And he's put himself in contention. But just understand, what you see as unfair treatment is just the game in general.
That's how it works.
Sometimes
you're low man on the totem pole.
That's the way they look at it.
We gave up the least to get you.
So
that's where your starting point is. Now,
I don't
care where you start. I care where you finish.
Today.
On September 1st, whoever's in that one slot better be the quarterback that gives us the best chance to win. Period.
We appreciate everyone's super
Whoever
chats.
he is.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. The Ultimate Clean Sports Show. Peace.
Peace.